R.E.M., The Cure, Depeche Mode, Pretenders, Talking Heads, and more. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, search Alternative Rewind, and listen now. iHeartRadio, free, never sounded so good.
From the England Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
The pounding begins. The wagons are circled. Every wind is raided. It's football time in America, and this republic has never been stronger. The Sportsocracy, Beer City's best sports talk, live from the England Studio.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy, the ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. Sportsocracy is heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Let's go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, join us in the chat. Everybody enjoy your Super Tuesday.
I couldn't tell you much about it because I spent it in a NyQuil-induced haze.
Jeremy had Sniffle Tuesday yesterday.
I don't know what I had. I'm still not 100%. But
Super Flu Tuesday.
I'm Super Sniffle Tuesday. That's what I had. Oof.
We're glad that you are feeling at least better and able to drag yourself in here today. I appreciate you giving me the day off yesterday, or the afternoon off yesterday, so we could have a great night on the election coverage on WWNC. I'm operating on about 2 hours sleep.
I was going to ask, how much sleep did you actually get after we talked about
we left here
413 political candidates?
We left here just shortly after 11. I got home and
well, there was
settled.
no we. Only one of you left.
Mark didn't leave. Mark stayed here last night on an air mattress in the conference room. And I was not going to do that.
I walked into their studio this morning, and there was like a hobo blanket and a pillow. And I went, "Did you have a vagrant with you for your election coverage last night?"
Nope, just Mark Starling.
Nope, just Mark
sleeping on the floor.
Just Mark.
Yep,
sitting in the shed, staring at the wall.
And then it was one of those nights where, I got home. I got this, I'm going to lay down. I'm going to go straight to sleep. And then what happened? Couldn't go straight to sleep. And so, yeah.
Didn't work for you?
So I got 2 hours in and then right back up and right back at them. And I'll be in the bed by 5:30-ish.
I won't, because it is officially draftmas season, ladies and gentlemen.
Is it?
So you're going to hear me on several shows in the next handful of days. And I'm going to sound like this. I sound like an inbred hillbilly on my best days. When you take away one of my ways to breathe, I sound like Sling Blade's brother. So, sorry.
Draftmas season officially underway, I guess. This is like the 14th marker of the Draftmas season.
You and I were trying to set the calendar for Draftmas, and we came to the conclusion that the Combine was Thanksgiving.
Scoutsgiving. Yeah.
We had Scoutsgiving.
Uh-huh.
We have the Senior Bowl, which is like Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't come up with a cute little name for that. And that's really your calendar.
Senior Wing. No, that's
Senior Wing.
No, Senior Wing.
That sounds like something they do in a nursing home that winds up on the news. That's not a good one.
You ever check the statistics on VD in a nursing home?
Yeah.
Senior Wing.
Yeah. I don't know what that was.
All right.
We need to never say that again.
We're not going to do that one.
Yikes.
Bowloween? No. We'll work on it.
We'll keep workshopping
it. And so the franchise tag deadline is day one on the Advent calendar.
But we have like 60 days on this.
It's day one on the Draft Vent calendar.
There we go.
See, sometimes they come together. Other times you got to work on them.
You want to play good, you try to play good.
Scoutsgiving, natural.
We have our first super chat of the day, which is it's well timed because it leads into our first story of the day.
All right.
Yeah. It's for our buddy Soaring Eagle. He said, and then what happened? The Denver Broncos died.
Oh.
But did they, though?
No.
I mean, yes, you do have to swallow the old frog and give $85 million in dead cap money to Russell Wilson. But then what?
But Sean Payton went, I don't care.
I don't care if I have to pay him $200 million. Mm-hmm. If I have to look at his stupid face for one more second, I'm going to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I can imagine when the way that conversation went with Russell Wilson was Rob Riggle talking to Will Ferrell in Step Brothers. I'm going to need you to do something about your face because, like, you pulled this off and all, but God, I just want to punch you right in the face.
I mean, that's pretty. We all knew where this was headed. The question was, will Sean Payton, as Grand Poobah there of the Denver Broncos, right?
That is the official title.
Yeah, that is his official title. I mean, he doesn't get the GM title because George Payton's still under contract, but we all know that there's no one else making this decision. Like, I don't even think Sean Payton had to go to ownership and be like, do we want to do this? He went to him and said, I'm not working with this guy for one more season. I know it's a lot of money, but I'm going to make you a lot of money when I turn this into a winner. And I feel like ownership just went, okay, because we know that this has been a rocky relationship from the start. All of the things that Sean Payton threw out about Russell Wilson when he got there, that all of this, I've got my own office and I have my own trainer and all of that's out the window. You knew this was off on a wrong foot to begin with. And then he played terribly. And Sean Payton's like, yep, oh, okay, we're just moving on.
Russell Wilson, well, first of all, you said Sean Payton's name, which means I have to say my favorite line, which is coffee's for closers, and Sean Payton takes his with 2 sugars. You don't know what that means, but take it I do, and that's all that matters. The second thing I have to say here is when you see Russell Wilson, what's the first thing that you think of?
Seattle Seahawks.
I mean, my first one was that I bet he calls his wife Sierra his lover. Like I feel like I feel like he wears a robe and tells you how he really experiences his food. I could do this way longer than you want me to. But where I'm going with this is I told you the day that happened, this is the worst trade in NFL history.
Yes.
It's going to go down as the worst trade in NFL history.
And
then it did.
And then it did.
Where did Russell go now? I heard this on ESPN yesterday. Well, all these potential landing spots for Russell Wilson, you do understand. None of those teams are going to view him as a one. None of them. Mm-hmm. There is only one spot that makes even a little bit of sense to me.
I agree.
And it's because they have a young quarterback that they don't really trust, and Russell Wilson might be an improvement, and it's the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, there we go.
That's the only one.
It is the only one.
Atlanta Falcons. Do you realize? Okay, so if the Atlanta Falcons wind up with Russell Wilson, it's because they were the weird kid at the senior prom that asked every girl to dance, and then they finally just went, okay, I surrender. You've been trying to chase me around the playground and kiss me since we were 6.
Mm-hmm. Mike Tomlin got he's already gotten on the phone because the news came out today that the Denver Broncos told Russ, you just go ahead. With this legal tampering stuff, we don't need to wait. You go ahead and you find you a spot somewhere because you're not. This ain't it.
Yeah, that's the definition of the married couple that is now divorcing, but they're still living in the house, and the husband said, you go ahead and sleep with other people. That's fine. I really don't care. Because there's no reconvening this. All right. So you just whatever you were going to do when you landed in your place, you go ahead and do that now. Because I don't even kind of care.
Mm-hmm. They gave him permission to go ahead, and Mike Tomlin got on the phone and said $4. I will give you $4. You come here, and we will see if we can cobble this thing together. Because I'll give you an opportunity to start. But that's the best conversation Russell Wilson's getting from any team.
And I agree. It's that one, which is the bird in the hand that you know. I know what Kenny Pickett is. He's a limited quarterback that never should have gone as high as he did, and you're the parachute. You're not coming in here as the starter. You're not doing it, and I really hope people understand that. If he winds up signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers, it will be as the backboard if Kenny Pickett does not improve in year 3.
Mm-hmm.
You don't agree with what I just said?
I don't know. I really don't know if Kenny gets to start. He'll be there as the backdrop. That might be the plan, but I don't know that Kenny will get to start if that's the case. Russell will be the starter. I project if that happens, he will win the battle in the training camp.
You've been doing too much political stuff. We're not projecting what happens here. I'm talking about what he is sold on. He's not coming in as the starter.
No.
You're coming in as the 2. If you beat him in camp, so be it. But that's really more of an indictment on him than it is a win for you. Then you look at other potential landing spots, the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota is going to – if Kirk Cousins is not coming back to Minnesota, and it is looking stronger and stronger by the second that he's not, I could see a path that they look at him and go, all right, that's a veteran quarterback to have in the room. But do you really want Russell Wilson in the room with your young quarterback?
Not necessarily.
All right, so explain to me the necessarily.
I don't like any of the attitude things that have cropped up. The prima donna stuff that's cropped up with him. You at this point you're holding your nose because you're gonna get him cheap. You know he's a backdrop that has at least won a Super Bowl. I feel like he fits that system or whatever system is going to be in place there.
I don't.
Run the ball, play action. Those are all things that he does well.
Yeah.
Or did well.
Kevin O'Connell is a derivative of Sean McVay. Just think about Russell Wilson in L.A. I know that.
Oh, you were talking about Minnesota. I thought we were still talking about Pittsburgh.
No. I had moved
I
past
don't think
Pittsburgh
there's
because
any
that would
shot
make sense.
that he goes there.
I don't either. And I was just kind of ticking off the ones that it could be.
Yeah.
Look at these teams that are going to draft young quarterbacks. Do I want Russell Wilson around Caleb Williams? God, no.
No.
I don't want
That's
the guy
disaster.
that had his own personal office and had his own personal trainers and all of this entitlement. I don't want you anywhere near Caleb Williams.
No.
You know who I want backing up Caleb Williams? Jacoby Brissett. The guy who's been in this league, I think, for 14 years, and I'm not 100% sure I've ever heard him speak.
I was thinking Gardner Minshew, but
Gardner's fine. Gardner thinks he's a starter in this league, and I'm not sure he's wrong. I want somebody that knows you've already been put in your place. You know you're not the guy. You know you're never going to be the guy, but I need you ready in case the guy gets hurt.
mm-hmm.
I don't know that Russell will ever fit into that. Look, he doesn't get the hate or the shade, I think, to the level of the Baker Mayfields and the Tim Tebows and the Cam Newtons and the guys we've always put into this. He is that guy too. And somebody asked me a really basic question yesterday. I think it was Stephen Towle. I was one of the ones that got by the great Facebook doesn't work of 2024. We all thought we'd been hacked. I was one of those too. I panicked because everything on the show was tied into that. And I went, no. And so I locked myself out of everything in 6 minutes.
Nice.
Took me a full day to get that unwound.
You started looking out the windows for birds and just,
He
went down the Super Tuesday hacking.
Yeah, by the way, if Facebook's going to shut down on any day, Super Tuesday is a day that conspiracy theorists like me will go, it's happening!
Yep.
I guarantee you Alex Jones was somewhere just losing his mind. But I believe it was Stephen Towle that asked me, is Russell Wilson a no-doubt Hall of Famer?
Yes.
I don't agree with you.
Okay. No doubt Hall of Famer. You know what? I'll say yes, because I don't think that there's any shot that he doesn't get in at some point.
I do.
Why?
So Russell falls currently into the Eli Manning realm.
Bingo.
But he only has one.
True.
If you had two, then yes, you're a no doubt. Because I thought about this all
We're
day.
not going to hold it against. We're not going to hold it against Russ that Pete screwed up his second title.
Well,
he will get in.
But I am though.
He will get in.
But I am going to hold that against him. For the same reason that I hold it against Phillip Rivers, that he was in an institutional failure that never put him in a position to win a Super Bowl. Because in terms of, if you're asking me quarterback for quarterback, who was better, Phillip Rivers or Russell Wilson, that ain't even close to me. I'll take Phillip Rivers 100 times out of 100.
Bingo.
The only reason you're in this discussion is because you did win that Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But then I started thinking about, okay, so when I think of the Super Bowl they did win, what's the first thing that comes to my mind? It's the defense.
What, the defense, yeah.
The Legion of Boom.
Mm-hmm.
What's the second thing that comes to my mind?
Marshawn
Lynch. What's the third thing that comes to my mind? Pete Carroll.
Yep.
Russell Wilson's fourth at best. And I'm just, I went back, and I'm not going to tell you that some of this wasn't in a NyQuil-induced haze, and I'm pretty sure I was talking to John Lennon at one point. But I did sound all of these things out in my head. At what point, with all of the quarterbacks that are going to be in the next handful of years, that are going to be on the ballot,
mm-hmm.
how many have to get in before I could check the box on Russell Wilson? I don't know that there's ever been a guy that his reputation was so excised to what he was than Russell Wilson. He's the best game manager you've ever seen in your life. That's what he always was. But he was a game manager that could kind of run and had really, really good weapons around him. There were a lot of Doug Baldwins, and then towards the end with DK and Tyler Lockett, there was a lot of stuff on that team. There's a reason he was a third-round pick. He's one of the best third-round picks there ever was.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure he's one of the best quarterbacks there ever was. And now I just look at him and go, I don't know that you have a landing spot. Matt Ryan could have bounced around the league for 5 more years, and teams would have kept giving him opportunities. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
He could have been a
willing
backup.
to be a backup, yeah.
I don't know that Russell's ever going to be willing to be that.
Well,
because even with the divorce here, I feel like all of this is steering into the Russell thinks that he got screwed here. You got me with Nat Hackett. Me and Nat Hackett didn't get along. The offense wasn't right. I kind of got turned on. I was the bad guy. Then you bring in Sean Payton to save this. Sean Payton turns on me. The minute he turns on me, now I'm the bad guy again. My touchdown to interception ratio was fantastic. Yeah, that's not hard to do when you don't ever push it down the field.
Mm-hmm.
I screamed this the entire year and had Bronco fans that were chirping at me the entire season. Do you understand now what I'm trying to tell you? They can't get rid of him fast enough. Physically could not get rid of him fast enough. At the combine, you and I were right in front of Sean Payton when he gave his 15-minute media availability at the combine. First question he was asked was about Russell Wilson. He couldn't answer fast enough. Yeah, we'll determine that within the next week. I think he said that 6 times. Be determined within the next week. Couldn't say it then, but he already knew. I'll do anything I have to get away from this guy.
But I don't think that precludes him from landing in another spot. It'll take a leap of faith on the team that takes that shot. But and it may not have been Greene, but it might have been somebody else on Greene that I heard earlier today here on ESPN Asheville say this. Mike Tomlin might be the guy to get the most out of Russell Wilson, and I don't know, maybe bring him back into line with a culture like he had in Seattle, right? He went to Denver, and the culture immediately became Russ.
And see, to me, that ship sailed. That ship sailed because he had that. He had that in Seattle with the coach, of which, by the way, if you really want to dig really deep into this, the difference between Pete Carroll and Mike Tomlin ain't much.
Mm-hmm.
He had the well-respected coach. He had the really good front office. He had the really good defense. He had on and on and on. That wasn't good enough because he wanted his credit. Then he went to Denver, and it imploded. So now you just think, oh, well, I got my hat in my hand. Oh, it didn't work. I guess I'll just go be that loyal. Nope. You married the superstar. You've got more money than you know what to do with. And now you think that guy's just going to bend to the Steeler way. Not so sure of that. Not so sure of that. I can see from Pittsburgh's perspective of what he did in Denver would be good enough for us to make the playoffs. Because, well, we made the playoffs with Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that personality in that room, that has combustible written all over it.
It does.
And my fear, if I'm like the media team for Russell Wilson, I would be looking at this going, we did a lot of good. The last handful of years have been really bad. At what point do you just throw your hands up and go, I got to rest on my laurels? Because you're hurting your legacy every single year. These 2 years in Denver basically unwound everything he did in Seattle. Yeah. They basically unwound everything he did because nobody views him like that guy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody sees him as a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I didn't see him that way in the first place, but a lot of people did because results are they're the flavor of the month. If you win football games, you raise that trophy, you're looked in a different manner.
Yes.
But if you take that Super Bowl away, what do you really have?
Well, I mean, you still have a quarterback that won a whole bunch of games, and winning that big game matters a lot. I mean, and I get that points to how good his team was around him, but he was the leader. He was a good quarterback on a really good to great team in some of those years. You get credit for that. Now, do you get credit for that while you're still in the Hall of Fame discussion? You get credit for that. In the discussion of what is going to be the rest of his career, I mean, it's up to Russ. He's going to have to make a change. He has to realize he's 35 years old, and this is my last shot. If I go to Pittsburgh and I burned that bridge, I won't be touched by anybody in the league again. No one will want to sign me. He's got to realize this is his last shot, and maybe it can happen.
Well, one of the things we pride ourselves on this show is that the fans really steer the conversation, and we've been asked a series of questions about quarterback dominoes. So I feel like when we come back, that's probably the next topic that should be discussed.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is the time of year to enjoy life. Stop letting that pain in your joints keep you from doing what you want to do this spring. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. It's a fact. QC Kinetics is literally transforming lives. Their advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Pro athletes have been doing this for decades, but now this life-changing treatment is available for you, so you can walk and run and climb stairs and play golf and move again pain-free. No pain pills, no risky surgery. This is an all-natural solution. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients who have reclaimed their mobility. Take action now and live your best life this spring and summer. It's a great use of your tax refund check, by the way. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Phone 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517 in Asheville and in Greenville.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
What's up? I'm John Wall.
And I'm CJ Toledano, and we're starting a new podcast presented by DraftKings called Point Game.
Hey, like at camps and stuff like this, you take the ball out. You ain't getting the ball back. Like, you the last one up in court. They already did their thing. So I stopped there, and I just got into a rhythm and started hooping.
If King of the Court happened next season, who do you think would win?
I just think KD, bro. Like, there's nothing you can do with him.
Check out Point Game with John Wall and CJ Toledano on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville, March 7th through 11th for the 2024 Ingles Southern Conference Basketball Championship. Experience fun for the whole family as your favorite teams compete for the championship and a berth at the NCAA tournament. Get your discounted tickets to the 2024 Ingles SoCon Basketball Championship at your local neighborhood Ingles markets. For more information, visit SoConHoops.com. The 2024 Ingles Southern Conference Basketball Championship at SoConHoops.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
It is ESPN Asheville and the free agency period in the NFL. Not open yet. But we're close. We got all the free agency talk happening after the franchise tag deadline. We'll get to franchise tags and the fallouts from all of those moves coming up in just a little bit. But, talking about Russell Wilson and the quarterback domino since he's leaving Denver, what are the options for other quarterbacks on the market? And Kirk Cousins is definitely at the top. He's the pie in the sky option. If you need a quarterback, Kirk Cousins to me is the number one option on the market.
And how many teams do you actually think view him that way? How many teams do you think that's their 1A?
Atlanta
That's
is a number one.
I would agree.
I feel like they need to do whatever it takes to get him. I mean,
Minnesota, I feel like is pretty obvious.
Well, obviously, Minnesota's in the game here. I would say Denver's probably interested.
I don't know that I agree with you.
Okay,
Kirk Cousins outside. Oh yeah, let's put him
cold.
Let's put him on one of the coldest places in the world. That'll be
maybe
awesome.
Not. Maybe not.
Now I think Denver has higher aspirations.
Okay.
New England is the only other one I look at. And that falls into the same cold thing. But New England is desperate. Yeah. Because New England is sitting in possibly the worst spot you can possibly be in, which is we need a quarterback. We're close enough to get one. So if we pass on one and they turn into a superstar, we're still going to look like morons unless we did something else. And that would be my question is, are you better off going Kirk Cousins, Marvin Harrison Jr., and you overpay him to get the elite player? Or going Jaden Daniels and you throw stupid money at Calvin Ridley?
Yeah. I honestly do not believe that he gets out of Minnesota. I mean, I know that you said there were reports that are leading us to believe that that's more of a possibility. I still feel like it's a slim possibility.
I don't.
That he gets out of Minnesota.
Every day that there's if he gets to the open market, he ends up in Atlanta. If we get to Monday
and he's
not signed, and it sounds like there is no traction to that, it sounds like there is nothing happening. They can sign him in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
These things can change fast. I can tell you as of 25 minutes ago, there was nothing trending in that direction.
What?
I think he's gone.
Oh, him coming back to Minnesota?
I think he's gone, and I think Atlanta is the only place that makes any sense.
Well, what happened to the Justin Fields thing?
I think I have always thought that was, well, we've got that in our pocket. Like, we got that in our pocket, but that's not necessarily what we want to do.
Well, that was the first news that came out during Combine Week was that they were close to doing a deal of getting Justin Fields from the Chicago Bears. And so I guess we all kind of just went, yeah, that makes sense. That's the one spot that we've been saying. You already got the ground game. You already got the infrastructure in place. Throwing Justin Fields into that scheme could be really good. But also think about Zach Robinson. And would you rather have Justin Fields running the Zach Robinson offense, or would you rather have Kirk Cousins?
It'd be Kirk Cousins, not close.
No doubt.
And that's where I'm at. I think that the Justin Fields thing is their plan B.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure that that's not very clear. I mean, because here's the thing. If Justin Fields was locked in, that's what Atlanta wanted to do, why is it not done yet? Because we just had a trade 2 days ago, right? The Chicago Bears traded for Ryan Bates. You can make deals right now.
Did we?
Yes.
Okay.
You can make deals right now. So if the trade is where they're going, why is that not done? Oh, because they want to hear Kirk Cousins tell them no first.
Right.
Now, in the YouTube chat, let's see. Danny Finn's fan asked, if Cousins goes to Atlanta, then where the expletive does Justin Fields land? That's a good question you have there. And I'm not going to lie to you, I don't have a good answer to that one either. I really don't. Because what team is going to look at Justin Fields and go, that's our solution?
The one that gets left out. The one that gets left out of the shuffle. Didn't get any of the, any of the free agent targets. Didn't get any of the draft picks, I guess.
Okay, so in
maybe
theory,
we get to that point.
In theory, take Washington out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say take New England out. So basically, Washington would be the only quarterback needy team that you could take out based on the draft.
Okay.
Where else really makes all that sense? That and even let's just say you're going under my assumption that you're not treating him like a franchise quarterback. You're treating him like a guy that you're going to get for 2 years at roughly $25 million. I think that was what I finally added that up to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll make the decision from there because you've got the team option. So who looks at him and goes, we're better that way? Outside of Atlanta, I don't have one. Pittsburgh, maybe, but now you've got a young guy competing with Kenny Pickett. I don't know that feels correct.
Mm-hmm. I don't feel good about it for anybody. I mean, if the money wasn't an issue, which it is, so it's never going to happen, I would say that New York would be an upgrade over Daniel Jones.
I will say the Giants make some sense.
But you're already paying Daniel Jones $45. You can pay $25 and just swallow the frog like you're doing with Russell Wilson.
Well, took the words right out of my mouth. Is that much like Denver? You have to look at it and go swallow the frog, but you'd have to really believe in him.
Well, I mean, I'm stuck in it, and then I got no guaranteed after this, or 15 guaranteed or something like this after this year on Daniel Jones.
It's very little after this year.
Yeah,
you can get out of it pretty comfortably. I think it's 18.1 if I'm not mistaken. Which is, I mean, trust me, there's a lot of guys in this league that have cap hits that are reasonably close to that. We have one super chat before we go to commercial break, also from our buddy Soaring Eagle. He asked, fact or fiction, Denver drafting J.J. McCarthy and starting him week 1 with Cortland Sutton and or Judy most likely gone will end in disaster. I don't know that that's true. J.J. McCarthy is still like a Sasquatch to me. And that's why I struggle to believe that any team outside of Minnesota or Denver would do it, because both of them have young administrations that are in pretty good footing, and so I can take the risk. J.J. McCarthy doesn't get you fired. I heard somebody talking about this morning, and they said it in a very smart way. The reason that you take Caleb Williams at 1 is not because you think he is the franchise savior. You know all of the red flags just like we do. What you know definitively is if you don't take him 1 and he does turn into that with whoever picks 2, then you're LMNO fired, and it doesn't matter what you did instead, because you bucked normal tradition. You took what all the rest of us have said, which is that's the best quarterback in the class. Nope, I know smarter than you. I'm going to do something else, and man, it better work. If it doesn't, you're going to get got. The thing about McCarthy is he doesn't have any of that. McCarthy doesn't have a general consensus. You can talk to 10 scouts and get 9 different opinions. I mean, who am I going to trust more to work with him than Kevin O'Connell or Sean Payton? If anybody can do it, it's them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the bad thing about being one of these quarterback needy teams this year is there's not a lot of ready-made solutions. There's a lot of J.J. McCarthy's and Bo Nix and Michael Penix and Justin Fields and
they're not ready-made
Sam
solutions.
Howell.
Right, they're not ready-made solutions, as you say, for the long term, but they're stopgaps for now at the very minimum. I see Bo Nix as that. I see Michael Penix as that. J.J. McCarthy is. I see all of these guys as good enough to come in and start right away. Should they? Probably not. Will they be in great situations? Obviously not. They'll be with bad teams. But it makes all the sense. It makes more sense now on these guys than it did with Kenny Pickett with Pittsburgh, to me.
Oh, I don't know that I agree with that.
Really?
I think there's a bigger narrative there. We got to take a break.
Right.
There's a bigger narrative to what you just said. And I wasn't prepared to talk about this today, but give me 4 minutes.
Here we go.
And I can be.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Rain will continue to fall through the afternoon on this Wednesday with a high near 57. Some more rain, a possibility during the start of the evening, and then later tonight, a cloudy sky with areas of fog as the low drops down to 48. It'll be a dry and warmer Thursday. Early clouds will give way to afternoon sunshine with a high of 69, and then a little bit cooler Friday with clouds and also an occasional shower popping up into the afternoon as the high gets close to 60 degrees. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report sponsored by Renewal by Anderson.
Renewal by Anderson's here.
It's bow time. Hurry into Bojangles for 2 scratch-made sizzling sausage biscuits for just $4. 1 bite and you'll want breakfast for dinner. Good thing we serve savory sausage biscuits all day. But this 2 for $4 deal won't last forever. It's bow time.
This March, Wendy's is fueling the madness with amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it.
Get it for $1. Dave's single, order in the app. Dave's single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer. Participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem at Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
This report is sponsored by
Bojangles. It's always bow time.
It's bow time. Hurry into Bojangles for 2 scratch-made sizzling sausage biscuits for just $4. 1 bite and you'll want breakfast for dinner. Good thing we serve savory sausage biscuits all day. But this 2-for-4 deal won't last forever. It's bow time.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you right now, like Alternative Rewind, where all rock began. Just search Alternative Rewind and listen now on your free iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
Taco Bell's cheesy double beef burrito is part of the new Cravings Value Menu, where all 10 choices are $3 or less, which means you can get the cheesy beefy burrito you want at the price you want. Grab one at a participating Taco Bell while supplies last. Price varies. Tax extra. Double seasoned beef compared to the Burrito Supreme.
It's the moment you dream of. The moment you work for. Train for. Run wind sprints when nobody's watching for. The moment when hours of gym time, court time, prep time all culminate into this time. The moment when millions of bounces, blocks, and boards all add up to this. Your moment. Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Back in the Sportsocracy inside the Ingles studio on ESPN Asheville. The Oakland Athletics have unveiled the renderings of their new stadium in Las Vegas. Jeremy, have you seen these? These renderings of this new stadium?
Nope, because I don't believe it's going to happen.
Phenomenal. It is going to be awesome. It'll be another great marvel for the city of Las Vegas, much like, the Sphere has been, much like Allegiant Stadium has been. In fact, the guy who designed Allegiant Stadium has designed this ballpark as well. It's like an open-air amphitheater kind of look. It looks like the Sydney Opera House in Australia, the one that has all of the big, I don't know what you call those things, like leaves going over the top of the stadium. And one of them is going to be pennant-shaped. It'll have a...
That's weird because they hadn't won one of those like 30 years.
It'll have... The rendering shows that it has A's colors across the top, and then like the scoreboard is on the lower part of the roof of this place. The problem is, they're still having problems deciding or getting the project off the ground in Las Vegas. Still supposed to be at the side of the Tropicana, and they have all of the permits and approvals and all of that. But the actual oomph to get the move going is still delayed. And what was it? It was during Super Bowl week, right? That we had the mayor of Las Vegas saying, hey, maybe they should just stay in Oakland.
You know what we really don't need here in Vegas? We got Wayne Newton and Celine Dion and Garth Brooks.
And the A's went, you know what? We need to get those renderings out right now to make sure people think that this is still happening, which I think it will. I doubt that it'll go on the timeline that they want. They want to open it by 2028, but they're going to be out of the Coliseum after this season. And they still don't know where they're going to play after that. Do they reach like a year-to-year deal with the Coliseum to stay in the crappy stadium that they've been in?
I'm going to say no.
Or do they go to apparently Sacramento, and where the Bees play, and then Salt Lake City to play there for 4 years?
They could take in a live taping of Sister Wives.
That seems. This whole thing just seems like a big stretch.
Can I ask you a question?
And we're operating without a net here.
And I know people are going to think I'm asking this question being a jerk, but I'm really not. Who is the biggest star right now in Major League Baseball?
Shohei Ohtani.
I'm just asking this question domestically, just in the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
I want you, and I don't want you to answer this off the jump, because I can already tell you, not only do I already know the answer, it's unequivocally I know the answer. In the United States of America right now, who is a bigger star? Shohei Ohtani or Caitlin Clark?
Oh, I would say that's Shohei Ohtani.
It's not, and you're not even close, which is funny because that's my story. So Caitlin Clark has announced she's going to the WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
Darren Ravel tweeted out that she just took a $750,000 pay cut, and not shockingly enough, the base that listens to Darren Ravel didn't really like that tweet. But he's not wrong.
Uh-huh.
To the point of Fox was ready to collaborate with ESPN and 2 other broadcast networks to create their own NIL deal for her because she was so good for their ratings, they were ready to pay her NIL themselves. I'm not even sure that that's legal. She announced that she was going to the WNBA before they could ever approach her with this. So I can't tell you how down the rabbit hole they got in this.
Mm-hmm.
The sheer fact that was even discussed should tell you, in terms of the power ranking of athletes in America right now, she is dragging every baseball player, every hockey player. I could make the argument. And I'm not going to say that it's an accurate argument. I could make the argument that she is the most sellable basketball player in this country right now. I can tell you she's the most sellable college athlete. It ain't close. Ain't even close. I think it was Forbes that put out a list of percentage increase among athletes. She was like 400% ahead of every athlete in America.
What, in the increase of what they made?
Increase of revenue of the sport.
Oh,
she's
driven that wasn't hard. Right?
Well, here's the thing. Women's college basketball, in large part, ain't that far behind Major League Baseball. And I'll go ahead and tell you, your little buddy Shohei wasn't even on the list. Was not even on the list because outside of California, it doesn't sell. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I've been telling you this for years. You're a baseball guy. I get it. Right now, one is very clearly more sellable than the other. Now, is it because it's a sport that a lot of people didn't care about leading into it? Sure.
Yes.
Well, if you had ever told me that a women's college basketball player would be more marketable than the best Major League Baseball player, I would have said you were out of your mind.
No doubt.
Now, the fact that you don't see it makes me want to say the exact same thing. Because nobody cares. Straight up. Okay, let me ask you a question. And this is just, we did a Super Bowl party here before we left for the Combine. When was the last time you saw a watch party at a bar to watch Shohei Ohtani at bats?
Oh, no.
It's never happened.
No.
I watched one in Woodfin, North Carolina for Caitlin Clark. Watched it with my own 2 eyes. Now, were there 800 people there? No. But there was a bar full of people going, hey, I want to watch that. I haven't seen that with a baseball game, and I couldn't tell you how long. As somebody that is in bars a lot, I can tell you, hey, why are we watching baseball? Gets asked way more often than you would ever imagine. Nobody ever objects.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I know that you and I think some people in this medium go a little over the top on these things. I'm not so sure you're going over the top on this one.
No doubt. It doesn't appeal to me, so I don't care.
Now, The other story I was going to tell is that was the positive side of NIL. Here's the negative side. Arch Manning may be out of his damn mind.
Why?
Because he's not going to be in the college football 25 video game. He just doesn't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really knew why. Well, now he's given a reason. And would you like to take a stab at what that reason is?
Because he's not the guy.
That is the dumbest thing I think I've ever heard in my life.
Why?
So you go to a school where you're very obviously not going to be the guy. Then you don't want to be in the video game because you're not the guy. Okay. That makes zero sense to me. Because I feel like you're saying what we want to hear. Just, oh, he's a competitor, and that's the reason he won't transfer. But that's not how that's playing to me. To me, it's playing as you're getting some horrifically bad advice. And I've been saying that since you declared to Texas. Because you went into the one situation in America that you were shoehorned out of a starting job until your junior year.
Mm-hmm.
That's not smart. There's nothing smart about that. It's actually really egotistical.
Well, I mean, was he? He was guaranteed shoehorned out of it.
Quinn Ewers was going to beat him 100 times out of 100.
But Quinn Ewers was going pro this year. And we all thought he was.
No, I was never sure of it. I said he was 50-50. I've actually got a graphic that I put out in, January that said the exact same thing.
If Quinn Ewers was what he was touted to be, I'll use the old, the Trevor Lawrence line, right? We all were told that Quinn Ewers was the next great thing. He was your mullet boyfriend for a while, and he was going to set Texas on fire.
I love the kid, but this is where the draft analyst and the sports analyst, we kind of divvy opinions on this.
Mm-hmm.
I always looked at Quinn Ewers and went, the best you could possibly be in this class is 3. He was never getting over Drake May. He was never getting over Caleb Williams.
Right.
There's no shot of him not being the one next year so long as he has 2 foots and 2 hands.
No doubt.
Because next year's class.
But that's what I'm saying. 2 years ago, it was just going to be
2 years
a year
ago.
away.
2 years ago, you could have projected the exact same thing. Because when Arch Manning committed to Texas, I told you he is making a mistake. Do you, fact or fiction, you remember me telling you this? If it makes zero, I think I said it on this show. I could be wrong in that, but
Probably.
I know I said it.
Probably.
Because he was down to like Ole Miss and Georgia and a couple other places.
Mm-hmm.
He could start at every one of those before he started Texas. But he is committed. This is where I want to go. And I always thought it had something to do with money.
Mm-hmm.
I always had this weird sinking suspicion that had something to do with NIL. And now, I can't be in the video game because I'm not the guy. That's cute. I can see through you. I see through you, cutie pie. You keep piddling on my leg and tell me it's raining. I'm gonna ask you why it's warm.
Why you always go there though? It's always got to be something nefarious. It can't just be it can't be something better. Like, who's to say Eli and Peyton didn't have a hand in this decision? I'm like, yeah, you'd be better off. Don't be in it now. And
how is he better off?
Then you being in it next year maybe creates some buzz.
How is he better off in Texas? Name me anyway.
What do you mean?
How is he better off at Texas? You said Arch's decision could have been influenced by Peyton and Eli.
Yeah.
Eli would have told him to go to Ole Miss.
I'm talking about the video game. I'm not talking about where to go to
I'm
school.
talking about all of it. See, this is just a drop in the bucket to me. This is you have somebody telling you, hey, this is what they want to hear. Hey, go tell them it's because you're not the guy. No, it's disingenuous. Straight up, it's disingenuous. That or you're just odd.
I didn't want to give up my name, image, and likeness forever for $600.
It's not forever. It's for a year. You can opt out of the next year if you so choose.
Yeah, but don't they get to keep my likeness for historic teams and stuff like that? You said that on this show like a week and a half ago.
They get to do that the second you walk out of the university anyway. You lose that in terms of collegiate likeness the minute you leave the university because they retain all of that. It's in that little scholarship that you sign. That anything you do while you're here, that's ours.
But if I don't license you to use it for the video game, you can't do it when I'm gone.
Yes, you can. Those two things are completely independent of each other.
That doesn't make sense.
Because you're actively an athlete now. That's what the Supreme Court ruled down on, was that as a student athlete, you are in charge of your name, image, and likeness. Your scholarship says what you do here is our property. That's the reason that they can sell us video rights, and Arch Manning can't go, I'm in that video, I'm not allowed to. You can't do that. That's why. is because there's multiple steps to that. There's multiple facets to that. Once you leave, everything that happened on a field is property of Texas or property of Ohio State or property of Michigan. Just because you said, no, I can't be in the video game. Yeah, you still signed the scholarship. So as long as your signature's on that, you have no rights to anything the minute you walk out the door.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, to me, it's one of those things. It's just a bad look. It's a bad look, and then you add it on to everything else. And I just, the more I see of this kid, the more I'm like, I'm good. I'll pass. Yeah, you got entitled rich kid written all of you. And I don't know the kid from Adam's House Cat. I know what he looks like, so I know if he walked in the door.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, every bit of this is like, no. Andreas Pinckney said it exactly right. He has such an ego for doing so little. And I can't even tell you it's ego. It very well could be you're getting really bad advice from somebody. But this is now 4, and they're not major decisions. Where you went to school is a major decision.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else, I don't know who's telling you what to do here, but they're not doing it right.
You are in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. We got the big day coming up on Monday.
It's almost here.
It's almost here, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a sports fan and maybe you're new. Maybe you're new to the whole wagering thing and you don't really know how all this works. We're gonna help you out with that later on down the line.
We'll give you more.
But you need to prepare today. Prepare for the coming of legal mobile sports wagering to the state of North Carolina, and you can do it with the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. It all goes live in the state of North Carolina on March 11th. You'll be able to bet on all your favorite sports from the comfort of your own home with DraftKings. And to celebrate new customers who download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today using the code WPEK will score up to $300 in bonus bets when you place a $5 bet once we're live. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and sign up with the code WPEK to get up to $300 in bonus bets once mobile sports betting goes live, only on DraftKings Sportsbook, coming soon to North Carolina, March 11th with code WPEK. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only, new customers only, subject to regulatory licensing requirements, maximum $300 in bonus bets, not available for use until March 11th, 2024. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit wagering and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC. It's going to be a big day on Monday. It'll be the championship of the Ingles SoCon basketball championships down at Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville, and I mean, I'll have something on it.
Monday, we'll be in the studio Monday, and then we will be at the Harris Cherokee Event Center for the final on Monday night.
Yes,
and I can tell you that there will be no less than 10 active wagers, probably on teams that I don't know anything about. And you know why? Because I can.
Yes.
You give it to me. That's what I always said. You give it to me, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't give it to me. I still did it. What do you think I'm going to do when it's legal?
Speaking of the Ingles SoCon Championships, we will be down there live doing the show on Friday. So we'll be back in studio tomorrow. And then we'll be at the Ingles SoCon Basketball Championships on Friday, live from the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville. You can come on down and hang out with us. You can get your tickets for any session of the men's or women's tournament now at SoConHoops.com. Well, Jeremy, we don't have time to get into your theories here about what we were talking about, so we'll have to push this off to the top of the hour. Do you want to recap where we're at for us?
Well, we were talking about quarterback dominoes, and all of those things, and you said something to the effect of that guys could be stopgaps.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, there are very few phrases in the English lexicon that I find as stupid as stopgap. Fair is up there pretty high.
Okay.
Stopgap is right behind it. A stopgap solution doesn't make a lot of sense, because in large part, all you're doing is kicking the can down the road and pushing yourself further and further and further away from relevancy. So What I did during the last break was I took a couple of teams that you were talking about bringing in stopgaps, and I'm going to draw a parallel of which one of these, in which way are you better off? And I think pretty quickly you'll see what I'm talking about.
All right, you're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
The North Carolina Education Lottery, we love to celebrate winners. So I hired a town crier to announce Pick 3, Pick 4, and Cash 5 winners.
Hear ye, hear ye. But there are thousands of winners every day.
Oyez, oyez, oyez. I may not have thought this through.
A proclamation of jubilant accord.
Who gave him a bell?
Daily draw games. What will you do with your win? Must be 18 to play. See Pick 3, Pick 4, and Cash 5 prize and odds charts at nclottery.com for details. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
It's National Dental Assistance Recognition Week, and Summit Dental would like to recognize and thank 3 exceptional team members. Thank you, Anna, who's been with the practice for 11 years, Kim, who's been there over 10, and Courtney, who started when the practice opened 15 years ago. All of them go above and beyond to ensure patients are well taken care of. With that, Summit Dental is growing and looking for a hygienist to join our awesome team. If you're interested, drop us a line. Email us at hello@AshevilleSummitDental.com. That's hello@AshevilleSummitDental.com.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else. And we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. From your cell, dial pound 250 and say keyword great results. That's pound 250 and say great results.
The best season of the year is here.
Tailgate season.
Monster Brewing presents this season's MVP.
The Beast Unleashed.
With 4 bold, familiar flavors.
With 0 caffeine and 0 sugar.
Beast Unleashed is your new pregame ritual.
With white haze, mean green, peach perfect, and scary berries, there's a flavor for every fan. The Beast Unleashed.
6% alcohol by volume. Unleashed responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Beast Unleashed available at your local retailer.
The madness begins in Asheville. Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville, March 7th through 11th for the 2024 Ingalls SoCon Basketball Championships. Experience fun for the whole family as your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournaments. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville box office. Get your tickets today.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Rain will continue to fall through the afternoon on this Wednesday with a high near 57. Some more rain, a possibility during the start of the evening, and then later tonight, a cloudy sky with areas of fog as the low drops down to 48. It'll be a dry and warmer Thursday. Early clouds will give way to afternoon sunshine with a high of 69, and then a little bit cooler Friday with clouds and also an occasional shower popping up into the afternoon as the high gets close to 60 degrees. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
At Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation, our focus is on you. With 18 locations across North Carolina specializing in short-term rehabilitation and long-term care, our team is ready to support your loved one, providing the compassionate care they need for whatever lies ahead. From physical and occupational therapy to individualized long-term support, discover the ways Sandstone provides compassionate care for all at sanstonehealth.com.
Running a small business is no small task. At Home Trust Bank, we work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business, and we have local experts who can help you plan for a successful future. Dependable guidance you need, and service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime at htb.com. Member FDIC.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
This is the time of year to enjoy life. Stop letting that pain in your joints keep you from doing what you want to do this spring. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. It's a fact. QC Kinetics is literally transforming lives. Their advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Pro athletes have been doing this for decades, but now this life-changing treatment is available for you, so you can walk and run and climb stairs stairs and play golf and move again pain-free. No pain pills, no risky surgery. This is an all-natural solution. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients who have reclaimed their mobility. Take action now and live your best life this spring and summer. It's a great use of your tax refund check, by the way. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Phone 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517 in Asheville and in Greenville.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
From the England Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Take it back.
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the England Studio.
We are back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. We're heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. Take us with you everywhere you go. You can see us everywhere you go on whatever device on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat, get your questions asked and answered here live every weekday afternoon inside the Ingles studio. Now, we were talking about quarterbacks in the first hour. It all started with the Russell Wilson thing. Denver Broncos have told him to go pound sand. He's not worth it. They're going to swallow the frog on $85 million over the next 2 years to make that happen.
That's a big frog.
Which it is a big frog.
That's a big old frog.
We were playing the domino game of who goes where, and in trying to match up these quarterbacks with the landing spots, you have so many on the free agent market or available in the draft that I described as stopgaps. And Jeremy hates that term. But to me, it's the best term that I've got for a franchise that you may not believe this guy is the guy to vault you into the future or give you a run at a Super Bowl, but you know he can do the job, and he's a decent option. I put Gardner Minshew in that category. I would put Jacoby Brissett and Jimmy Garoppolo to a certain extent. Sam Darnold, your guy, falls into that category. Now we've got Russell Wilson. I already mentioned Bo Nix and Michael Penix. I formed them into one guy there. And J.J. McCarthy. At least right away, all of these guys can be serviceable starters for any team. But they're not necessarily the springboard into the future, other than you would hold that hope for the rookies. But the other guys, no, it's a stopgap.
Well, and that's my problem, is that I look at stopgap quarterbacks. What is the point? All right, I'll go ahead and I'll tell you that there are two teams in the NFL right now that are proof positive of what a stopgap quarterback can get you. One of them is the Seattle Seahawks.
Yes.
One of them is your Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes.
Because Baker Mayfield was a stopgap.
Mm-hmm.
$5 million. And you were going to reset the franchise. Because you knew after Tom, you'd gone all in. Everything's not going to go hunky-dunky, which it didn't. And you went 9-8. You won the division. You won a game in the playoffs. But did you really ever threaten for anything?
No.
And now, look, I understand that I look at this differently from most. I am a lifelong Jet fan, and I've gone all the extremes except the Super Bowl extreme. I've never gotten to experience that. I've been the 1-15 team. I've been the AFC front runner that gets beat in the AFC Championship game 4 times. I've seen that. And what I've seen over the years is I look at my team. Have we ever had a franchise quarterback?
No.
We've had a slew of stopgaps because here's the third team I would say here is the New York Jets. You have a stopgap. You have a much bigger name stopgap, but that's what Aaron Rodgers is. And how'd that go last year? Oh, he gets hurt. You're still stuck with him. So you're still stuck with all of his little buddies. Now you have to build up the line and you've got to go all in, basically hemorrhaging the next 3 years of your future to build up for a run with a stopgap. Is it going to win you a Super Bowl?
Good.
Well, I mean, technically a bullfrog could grow wings, but that's not likely to happen.
You got a way better
Unless
shot.
that bullfrog was in Lake Julian, and then you never know. Could have a horn, could have 14 eyes.
You have a vastly improved shot of winning a Super Bowl with that stopgap than any of the stopgaps we talked about so far with Baker Mayfield or Russell Wilson.
I don't know that what you just said is true.
Really?
I don't.
Okay.
Because I would put yours at 0. I'd put Seattle's at 0.1%, and I'd put the Jets at maybe 0.5%. That's not really enough of a difference for me. If you remember, I like having Aaron Rodgers, and I actually like Aaron Rodgers as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have like outsized expectations that, we're going to go to the Super Bowl.
You did.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I said my exact words, and I can almost tell you to the day that I said it. I just want to make the damn playoffs. It's been 14 years since I've been to the playoffs. I'm not expecting a Super Bowl because I know we're not better than Kansas City.
Okay.
I know we're not better than San Francisco.
You're not expecting it, but the hope's there.
As I said, the hope went from 0 to 0.5%. Colin Greene said the same thing about Derek Carr. And I guess that's a really good example for what I'm going here. There are different levels of stopgap.
Mm-hmm.
The question that I have is, can this guy be a guy that wins you a Super Bowl? And let me just go through the 4 names I just said. Is Geno Smith ever going to be the quarterback of a team that wins a Super Bowl?
Mm.
No. Is Baker Mayfield ever going to be the quarterback of a team that wins a Super Bowl? No. Is Aaron Rodgers ever winning another one? No. Is Derek Carr ever going to be the starting quarterback of a team that wins the Super Bowl? No. But is Brock Purdy, once he gets paid, ever going to be the starting quarterback of the Super Bowl winning NFL football team? I'll say no. But he can get to one while he's making peanuts. So, and that's where I'm at. I'm looking at Denver right here, and I go back to what Soaring Eagle asked us earlier. The disaster that could be J.J. McCarthy. Well, you're right. It could be. He's also going to make circus peanuts for 4 years. So you can build up the talent around him. That's where I want to go all in. Because I've seen teams show me, Russell Wilson's a great example. Hey, if you draft really well for a handful of years and then you hit on a serviceable NFL quarterback, that serviceable NFL quarterback can look like a star until you pay him. I don't want to pay anything that's outside of the elite. I wasn't 100% sure I wanted to pay Justin Herbert. I understood that you had to, but I wasn't positive that I wanted to. I'm paying Joe Burrow. I'm paying Josh Allen. I'm paying Pat Mahomes. I'm paying Lamar Jackson. I'm paying the elites of the elites of the elites. And even Lamar scared me because I don't know how long he's going to last. But you had to do it. Where I come into problems is, okay, Atlanta, you're going to give 3 years and 95 or $100 million to Kirk Cousins. Are you a Super Bowl contender?
No.
Then you're flushing money down the toilet. Literally, you're flushing money down the toilet. Because would you not be better off to go all in, maybe overpay, and get up there to Jaden Daniels?
Does that put you in a better spot?
I would say it does.
Oof.
Than a declining Kirk Cousins that you're paying $11 billion to? You're telling me you couldn't build a team around Jaden Daniels, who is incredibly electric, has a huge arm, with Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Jaden Daniels all on rookie deals? You're telling me you couldn't find a feasible way in the horrifically bad NFC?
Possibly.
You gonna do it with Kirk Cousins? Because I don't see the path.
I mean, we're going to win the division.
Woo! We're going to win the division. I don't care about winning divisions. I really don't.
That's what sets you apart from every other coach in the NFL.
Well, I'm not a coach. But I'm not a coach. That's exactly what sets me apart.
No, I get it.
Because I'm here for the duration. All right, so I'll use you and I'll use me. Mm. You've been a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan since what year?
1982.
1982. Well, okay. So
whenever I was old enough to hold a football.
Whenever you stopped pooping in your pants, which was more like 1992. But okay. I've been a Jets fan since 1994. I will be here until 2094 if the old ticker holds out. Coaches and GMs don't do that because they're trying to keep their employee. And they do things that sacrifice the future. And there is a reason that every team, seems like every year, and you know, I've only been doing this for a handful of years, but it seems like every year that I've done this, the same handful of teams have really needed a quarterback. The Atlanta Falcons have needed a quarterback, I think, since the year I was born. The best year you ever had was with Chris Chandler. So there's that. Why at no point do people realize that this stopgap thing, even when it works, it doesn't work? Geno Smith was a stopgap. It worked for a year. Then you paid him, and it didn't work. Daniel Jones, he was a stopgap because you overdrafted him grossly in a horrifically bad quarterback draft. And then you paid him. When he was cheap, it worked. When he was paid, it didn't. You're going to have to pay anybody that's currently in the league. So why would I not just go draft Michael Penix? Who knows? He might hit. Not everybody is right on quarterbacks every single time. I would say Chris Sims is probably more accurate on quarterbacks than anybody in the NFL, even though he says things sometimes that I just go, did you smoke crack before you said that? Because that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And oddly enough, a lot of them hit.
Mm-hmm.
But you got a better shot with Michael Penix cheap for 4 years than you do with Kirk Cousins or with Justin Fields. The only spot that I feel that way, that I don't feel that way, is with Atlanta, because that team is so unbelievably damn fast that you might be able to make it work with Justin Fields. But if you can make it work there, why wouldn't you just go make the deal on Jaden Daniels? Oh, because draft capital. Oh, we got to have draft capital. Do you know the teams that are in the bottom of the NFL in draft capital? They're all good. Every single one of them is good.
Except for the Panthers.
Well, that's what happens. That's what happens when you trade for a quarterback and then hire Frank Reich. Woo! But you got the right coach now. So Panther fans, just give it a year. This year may not be great, but a year from now, you're going to feel a lot better than you do right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
Because here's the thing. If Atlanta does that, say they do that, they make the trade and they go get Jaden Daniels and he turns out to be an unmitigated disaster. I don't think that's in the realm of possibility for him, but who knows?
I don't either.
I don't know.
Okay,
but if I give all that capital up and I trade up and it doesn't work and we continue to lose the worst division in the league, nobody here's keeping their job. You got Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris, and they don't have long leashes. They need to win this division quickly.
Okay, so define long leashes.
3 years max.
Okay,
max.
That's the average. That's about what an NFL coach gets.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to get more platitude with Jaden Daniels than you get with Kirk Cousins?
Depends. It depends on what happens with Kirk Cousins. Now, I don't know what Kirk Cousins would have to do for you to look back and go, damn, we should have done that. But that's how it's going to be viewed. We had a chance to get Kirk Cousins, and you decided to go with the young guy, the unknown, and it's the same old Falcons. It's the same old, same old.
Well, I mean, you do realize that both of those scenarios lead with you being in the exact same boat 3 years from now. You get that, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you go Kirk Cousins. Let's say it works out a little better. You win the division. You get slaughtered in the playoffs. Conversely, you draft Jaden Daniels. He doesn't turn into the guy you expect him to be. He's I'll go Justin Fields. 3 years from now, you're in the exact same boat. You're still trying to find a quarterback all over again. The only difference is now you had, I don't know, an extra $100 million to build a team around whoever the next one is.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know who did that exact same thing?
Who's that?
The Kansas City Chiefs. They took a low-risk flyer on Alex Smith. It worked for a little bit. They realized that there was a cap to it. They traded up to get Pat Mahomes. They figured out very early on that this Mahomes kid is a D-O-double-G doggy dog. And next year, he's the dude, and we're set forever.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you get the Bears, the Raiders, the Jets, the Broncos, the Falcons, the Browns. And I'll give the Browns credit. At least you took the swing. At least you went and paid $250 million for a quarterback that I've seen be elite that wasn't 414 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But weird. All these other teams, you wind up with all these stopgaps. And then 3 years later, you're doing it all over again.
Yep. Because you live in that world. You live in that world and you continue to chase it.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
Is there a better shot at Bo Nix being a franchise quarterback than Kirk Cousins? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because Kirk's 36 years old.
Yeah, considering the ages, of course.
And so that's my point.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you. I think you're in better shape with Sam Howell than you are with Kirk Cousins because there's a shot that he's a dude. I wouldn't befall a team for taking that swing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Washington takes a quarterback. I think you're tapping out way too early on Sam Howell. I'll go get him. I'll give up a second-round pick for Sam Howell. I don't think I have to. But if I do have to, then so be it. If that's your price, that's what he cost, okay.
Yeah. Would not be a bad move.
And I've still got him super cheap for 2 years. I'll take my swing at it.
Yep. The problem is, how do they see themselves in their room? In that room, how do they look at themselves?
Well, I mean,
are we close enough to being contenders that Kirk Cousins solves this problem for us?
Well,
I think the Atlanta Falcons actually believe it.
The patent flaw of the NFL is that you have a series of fans that are lifelong fans that are committed to this franchise, and it's run by guys that have a 3-year tenure with the team.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not ironic that the only franchises in the NFL that hold on to coaches through strife are the ones that are the most successful year over year over year over year. Because then you have GMs that make long-term decisions as opposed to, I have to be as good as I can be right now and sacrifice everything in the future.
Mm-hmm.
The Baltimore Ravens never sacrifice anything for the future, ever. You look at future draft capital.
They're good and they don't have to.
But why are they good? They weren't good. They were god-awful in the late 90s. They were horrific.
And then they got the greatest GM of all time, and he built a hell of a culture there.
And you know, that's weird that Ozzie Newsome had been in the front office of the Cleveland Browns. And it's weird.
Just
they weren't good.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's built all of these underlings underneath him that have all been good in other places. None of them have been good as GMs. Isn't that weird? You know why? Because they keep going to teams that have owners that need to be 10-7 and win the division this year.
Yep.
Yeah. Or maybe just make me good. Maybe I just give you 5 years for you to make me good. And then you can make decisions that aren't incredibly stupid. I saw Danny Finn's fan. As a Dolphins fan, we chose Culpepper over Breeze, and it still haunts me. Yeah, you know why you made that decision? Because the medical team failed Drew Brees because they were afraid that he wasn't going to be ready that year. That wasn't a long-term, his arm's going to fall off. He failed the medical because they didn't think he was going to be ready to play week 1. Short-sighted versus long-term potential. That decision still haunts you, and I can give you 10 of those with my team.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll bet you he can give you at least 5 with his team. That's what bad franchises do.
Yep.
And that's why the same franchises tend to be in this position every single year.
Right.
Also seems to be the same teams that spend big money in free agents.
But is it? It takes that monumental shift though within the front office, within the ownership, whatever it is. It takes that monumental shift to be able to find the guys, because, yeah, I mean, you did mention Ozzie Newsome being with the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, and there's also one.
But
all right, there's a huge thing that you're leaving out right there.
Uh-huh.
We got to take a break. When we come back, I want you to repeat the same thing you just said, and I'm going to see how long it takes before you figure out what it is that you're leaving out there.
Okay. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this ESPN Asheville.
The madness starts this week, and iHeartMedia Asheville's got you covered with the best college basketball action. UNC Asheville is in the Big South Conference Tournament at High Point University, and our live broadcast starts Friday at 5:30 as the Bulldogs take on Charleston Southern on 570 WWNC. Quarterfinal Saturday gets us started at the Ingalls Southern Conference Basketball Championship and runs on ESPN Asheville through Sunday, with coverage of the Women's Championship game and the men's semifinals. March is here, and college basketball lives on iHeartMedia Asheville.
Join us Monday night for our 2024 iHeart Podcast Awards, presented by The Hartford, live at South by Southwest. We'll honor the very best in podcasting from the past year and celebrate the most innovative talent and creators in the industry. Watch Monday night, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on iHeartRadio's YouTube channel.
Presented by the Hartford Small Business Insurance. Learn more or start a quote at thehartford.com/small business. With insurance designed for your small business, the Buck's got your back.
Hear that? The sound of your antique fountain pen gliding across linen paper as you journal in the park. If you were here, you'd be inspired by the warm breeze. But you're not here. Because your self-care happens out on the road, riding your motorcycle protected by Progressive. And the wind in your face on the road is all the inspiration you need. So if you ride, get a quote and see if you could save with Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Now that's inspiring. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Free iHeart Radio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like Alternative Rewind, where all rock began. R.E.M., The Cure, Depeche Mode, Pretenders, Talking Heads, and more. Just open the free iHeart Radio app, search Alternative Rewind, and listen now. iHeart Radio, free never sounded so good.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from. White Haze, Each Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cott?
Really starting to be concerned for my own personal safety being in this room with Snotty McSnotterson over there.
Well, here's the thing. I was today years old, and I learned that Dayquil wears off after 6 hours. I may die before the show's over.
Mr. Hay Fever alongside here in the Ingles studio.
Oof.
I guess we just can't go to Indianapolis anymore.
I'm just gonna have to leave Miss Joanne a note that says you need to Purell everything.
No more trips up north for Jeremy.
If this happens every time I travel out west, or every time because I'm not actually sick, I just can't stop sneezing.
Mm-hmm.
I in large part feel fine. It's so annoying that every time I turn my head, I sneeze.
All right, as we were going to break there, we're basically discussing how bad teams and bad franchises become good. And I was leading down a path there of you have to have at some point in these front offices like a philosophical shift. You can't keep doing business the same way, and I get that's what you're urging to happen here. Some franchises can find their Ozzie Smith. You said he was with Cleveland.
Ozzie Newsome.
Or
Ozzie Smith
what did
was
I say?
You said Ozzie Smith.
Yeah, not that
was
guy.
A shortstop that did backflips.
No. Ozzie Newsome was the one I was supposed to say. So you said he worked in Cleveland.
Yep.
And then Baltimore gets him. And he
they were the same franchise.
Right, but he sets the culture there and turns them into what they are today. Not every franchise finds that guy.
Well,
Atlanta's never had one.
And now what you're doing is totally revisionist history.
Okay.
Because, yes, you're right. Ozzie Newsome was with the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the GM that led to many wonderful things with the Ravens.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. How long was Ozzie Newsome in a super high up role with the Cleveland Browns?
Oh, I don't know. 8 years.
It started in 1994.
Okay.
They moved in 96. I think it's when they went to Baltimore.
Okay.
The minute that they got to Baltimore, he was the VP of player personnel. So he was really high up in the Ravens.
Okay.
And we always talk about he's the greatest executive of all time. Their records with him as the director of VP of personnel: 4-12, 6-9-1, 6-10, 8-8. Then something happened. Whatever could that thing be that happened? Oh, yeah, Art Modell went out of town, and in came Steve Bisciotti. Do you know what they did the first year he was there? They won the damn Super Bowl with guys that had been on that roster for several years. Weird. It didn't work with Art Modell. It did work with Steve Bisciotti.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worked ever since. Do you know how many times they've won less than 8 games since that Super Bowl?
3 times.
It's happened exactly 4 times.
There you go.
In over 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
because you have the model of consistency as your owner. And weird, how many coaches have they had the entire time he's been there? It's 2. Brian Billick, John Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the reason you can take guys like Kyle Hamilton. That's the reason you can take guys like Patrick Queen, and you can work through things with guys like Justin Madubuike, who I think had 4 more sacks than I did before this year, and now he's their franchise player. How many teams have you seen take a guy like that they give up on after 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore doesn't. Because John Harbaugh knows there's nothing I can do. I can have a 5-11 year because I've already seen you do it with Justin Forsett. What did you do after that? We'll just reset the decks. In Steve Bisciotti's entire tenure as the owner of the Baltimore Ravens, how many quarterbacks have been their leading passer in a year? In 24 seasons, how many leading passers have they had?
1.
Elvis Gerbach, Tony Banks, Kyle Bowler, Steve McNair, Joe Flacco, Lamar Jackson. That's 6 in 23 years, and 4 of those were in the first 8 years he owned the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And he found a franchise quarterback. But look at how many swings he took. He took the swing with Kyle Bowler. He took the swing with Steve McNair, who was an aging veteran, and we all thought he probably wasn't going to age all that well because he'd taken so many hits, because he was an athletic quarterback. He was a bigger guy.
Mm-hmm.
Took the swing with Elvis Gerbach, who for years we all thought was going to become something. Took the swing with Tony Banks, who was the first quarterback drafted in that draft class. Swing after swing after swing after swing. But you know what he didn't do? Sit around and go, well, I got to stick with Elvis Gerbach for 4 years. No, he sucks. Get him out of here. Well, we'll draft Kyle Bowler. We'll actually move up to get Kyle Bowler, who was an absolute bum. Cool, get him out of town. Bring Steve McNair in. Well, Steve's getting a little older. Okay, back to Kyle Bowler we go. No, he still sucks. Out he goes. Joe Flacco, come on down. There we go. That's the one. That's the one. Keep swinging the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because eventually you're going to hit one. But then you get teams like Atlanta. Well, Chris Chandler's been terrible everywhere he's been, but he came in here and won us a Super Bowl, so we're going to do that. Michael Vick, we'll take him with the first pick, and we'll do that forever. In spite of the fact he never actually was any good. But, man, he sells a lot of video games and a lot of jerseys, doesn't he? Isn't it fun?
Then we'll do taking swings, right?
No, because they stick with him forever. Michael Vick it was super obvious, super early. You are not winning a Super Bowl with Michael Vick. But we took him number 1, so we got to stick with him forever. And he's the franchise quarterback.
Well, there were some things that happened with him that made that worse.
I can be honest. I'll be honest with you. Michael Vick could have been allergic to dogs. It wouldn't have changed the fact he was never winning a Super Bowl with the Atlanta Falcons. And if you disagree with me, I'm going to laugh at you out loud. Because there's probably not 5 more overrated players in the history of the NFL than Michael Vick.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up. And that's, to me, it's not even debatable. He was a mediocre quarterback at best, but man, he was fun to watch.
And if he was on your team has done the same thing.
He was on my team.
Everyone.
I actually witnessed him on my team. It wasn't great. And yeah, it was towards the end. I get it.
I was going to say it's a vastly different
not really
experience there.
Not really. He was still pretty much the same guy.
Yeah.
Hey, first read, maybe look at the second read and take off.
Mm-hmm.
It's just funny. I heard you say that about Ozzie Newsome, and the only thing I could think was, you do realize he was there in power for 7 years before they were ever good. Mm-hmm. Ozzie Newsome gets a lot of credit. He deserves it.
Mm-hmm. The
institutional structure there comes from Steve Bisciotti. Oh, and by the way, the fact that there's one team in the NFL that doesn't have an owner, it's publicly traded company owned by the fan base. They've never been bad either. There's a reason for that. Think about what I just said. The fan base controls the ops of the team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, there's a president of the team and all that. They're not making football decisions. I get that. But every big decision is put in front of a board. They're one of the most consistent franchises in the NFL. Meanwhile, you've got teams like, I don't know, the Indianapolis Colts with an impetuous owner that may or may not like recreational crimes. The Bears, who are owned by a 5,000-year-old woman. Virginia McCaskey, that it's just gone down through the generations.
Mm-hmm.
I keep doing this. You find a stable owner, you find a stable franchise. That's the reason I look at New England and go, yeah, this is not great. And it's not going to be great for a year or two. You'll figure it out. I'm not saying it'll be with Gerard Mayo. I'm not saying it'll be with Jaden Daniels. I'm not saying it'll be with Drake May. But they're going to take a swing one way or the other. And if that swing doesn't work out, lather up and do it again next year. And eventually you're going to get it right.
Okay.
And if you think it's scouts, do me a favor. Pull Adam Schefter tweeted this out yesterday. The NFL gives out College Scout of the Year awards. Look at what teams they work for. The Jets and the Giants and the Bears. Weird. None of those teams are any good.
So it all comes down to ownership.
You find me a good owner, I'll show you a good team.
Okay.
And if you find me a bad owner that has a bad team, it'll be the first one I've ever seen.
All right. You're in the Sportsocracy. ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Rain will continue to fall through the afternoon on this Wednesday with a high near 57. Some more rain, a possibility during the start of the evening, and then later tonight, a cloudy sky with areas of fog as the low drops down to 48. It'll be a dry and warmer Thursday. Early clouds will give way to afternoon sunshine with a high of 69, and then a little bit cooler Friday with clouds and also an occasional shower popping up into the afternoon as the high gets close to 60 degrees. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on anyone else. So if you drive safely, you could save money. Good to know. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Over 50,000 police officers are assaulted each year. Help police by not escalating. Address any complaints after the encounter. Comply now, complain later. Keep everybody safe. This message brought to you by the National Police Association. Learn more at nationalpolice.org.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with a new way to enjoy our beautiful planet. When exploring outdoor areas like local parks or a historic urban neighborhood this spring, be sure to recreate responsibly to protect yourself and the environment. Check the open status of a place before you visit, be respectful of others, and dispose of waste properly. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville, March 7th through 11th for the 2024 Ingles Southern Conference Basketball Championship. Experience fun for the whole family as your favorite teams compete for the championship and a berth at the NCAA tournament. Get your discounted tickets to the 2024 Ingles SoCon Basketball Championship at your local neighborhood Ingles markets. For more information, visit SoConHoops.com. The 2024 Ingles Southern Conference Basketball Championship at SoConHoops.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
Back at the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. This was just my weird reaction to a story that I saw this morning regarding what?
Oh, you know, we didn't do this segment the whole time we were in Indianapolis. So I have a stack of stories to put in this. I was actually laughing nonstop.
Nice. I saw this headline. Zion Williamson says he'll do the dunk contest if he's voted as an all-star. My reaction to that was, first off, who cares? Does anybody care that much about the slam dunk competition
If
anymore?
Zion did it, you would care.
Do you think so?
As somebody that's watched him do this, I saw him do it in high school. I saw him do it in college in layup lines. Yeah, trust me, you want Zion to do the dunk contest.
Yeah.
We also saw him in Indianapolis almost break the stanchion on the backboard with a dunk.
I mean, yeah,
in a game.
That one dunk was great.
I would much rather watch him than Mac McClung.
No doubt about it. You want to get any eyeballs on that thing next year, then maybe. I saw this and I thought, who asked? Is he still a thing? Are there people still holding on to hope that this is going to be a great career? You know me, I'm against it. I think he's overrated. I think he's an injury waiting to happen. And sure, he may have a good highlight dunk every now and then. But I don't see it.
That's because you hate him.
I still don't get it.
And I don't really understand how you don't get it.
Well, we went to the Indianapolis Pacers New Orleans Pelicans game. Never at one point did I ever feel like he was the best player on that floor.
Well, that's because Tyrese Halliburton was on that floor.
Even when he wasn't on the floor. I don't know.
Zion's averaging 22 points a game. Something like 9 rebounds or something ridiculous like that.
I get it.
Yeah, I think he's just fine.
He's not the highlight reel. That's one that I will always stick to. You stick to the Trevor Lawrence was not what we were sold he was going to be. Zion Williamson is not and will never be what we were sold he was going to be.
That I'll agree with.
Okay.
But to say that he's not having a good to great career, he's the best player on one of the best teams in the NBA. I think that's just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is he the best player in the league?
No.
And what really, kills him there is he's short. He's real short for what he's trying to do.
Zion's short?
He's 6'6".
Mm-hmm.
He's a 6'6" guy that plays like he's 7 foot tall most of the time. Now, then there are other times that he gets a smaller guy on him and just goes, hey, look how big I am now. Boom! And he did that to Indiana.
NBA, put your thumb on that scale right now. Whatever you have to do. to make sure that he's an all-star again, to get him in the dunk contest. And my other thought is he was an all-star twice already, wasn't he?
Yes.
And he didn't do it.
No.
So what's changed? Oh, you need the dunk contest now. That's how I read that. You were the one that took the Arch Manning story, which I felt was completely benign, which I could tell by your reaction. You feel like this is completely benign. I look at this and I go, nobody cared. Nobody asked you what you wanted to do.
Oh, and I think it's laughable that you think it. Because I'll go ahead and tell you who I think mentioned this to him, and he's real tall and looks like a bug.
David Stern or Adam Silver.
Yeah, because he went, hey, our last dunk contest got tens and tens of views because nobody knew any of the people in it. You know who does? You know who is known by the average fan? You are.
Mm-hmm. Desperation and ego. That's what I read this as.
Yeah, no, there are a lot of people that would watch him in it. And we're to the point we were at in the mid-90s when the dunk contest died.
Mm-hmm.
When it went away, we're actually past that in terms of complete apathy from the average fan.
Yeah.
So
my thought is it too far gone to save it? Will you ever get people to care about it again? And I doubt it.
I will say that somebody like Zion in it could save it for a year.
Maybe. Dwight saved it. Dwight Howard coming back.
He did.
He saved it. So maybe Zion can too. I didn't ask how much, and he told me.
Well, you didn't ask, but a lot of people did. My story comes from Glasgow, Scotland. Families were promised an experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's $44 a ticket. And they were sold that they were going to have a Willy Wonka experience. This was now. I want to see where you see this. I want to see where this story kind of turns for you.
Okay.
I've always said that the number one reason that I won't wind up in a cult is because I ask way too many questions, and the minute something you say to me doesn't make sense, it pretty much invalidates everything else. So this was organized by House of Illuminati. That was a red flag for me, not for Tank. They promoted the event with an extravagant website filled with fantastical images and long descriptions of an enchanted garden, an imagination lab, and a twilight tunnel. But there were no pictures.
Mm-hmm.
There's no pictures of this thing that you did.
Yeah,
Do you know what they got when they showed up?
Oh, good Lord.
It was a sparsely decorated warehouse. Each of them got a quarter cup of lemonade and a bottom of a bucket full of jelly beans.
And welcome to Wonka.
Who didn't see that coming? This is Billy Wonka at best. It might be Billy Bonka if we're being really. How do you fall for this? Have a Willy Wonka experience promoted by the House of Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And at some point, did you never do a Google search to see if you could find this place?
Yeah.
Or.
So people became so angry when they showed up that the police were called. They had to completely cancel the event and barricade the door to prevent other people from coming in. That, my friends, is when things just go completely sideways.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand. Why would you want to do that? Like, let's just say a reputable company came up with this idea, and they were going to do it somewhere here in Asheville. I was trying to think of a place, but I mean, the Biltmore House makes the most sense, but I don't.
No doubt. Basement of the Biltmore House where they have all of the special. I mean, depends on what you want to do.
I've lived here 30 years. I've been to the Biltmore House one time.
They have all kinds of exhibits and stuff down there, so that might be the best place for something like this.
So you can have this huge, like, sweet Willy Wonka experience. Are you going to that?
Hell yeah.
I'm not.
I mean, if it looks legit, I'll go. I'll have to check it out. You have some interactive stuff in there, like you could take a ride on the Wonkavator, and you can, I don't know, the fizzy lifting drinks. I don't know, you can scale the walls, or I don't know what you could do. There's so many possibilities. It was such a fantastical movie and such a dream of everyone, and every fat kid that ever existed. You tell me you're going to take me to a place where candy's just on the walls and from the trees and in the rivers. And yeah, I think I'm going to have to check that out and see how you did. The Biltmore House would be a great place for that. They would never do any of it. There's no way you could do it and you know, preserve the history of the building.
Yeah, I just, for me, I don't care.
Yet, if we created Duff World, you'd go.
Duff Man, can't breathe.
Exactly.
Oh, no. It's totally, I'd go.
Exactly.
You mean
It's the same thing.
You mean a great big amusement park where I drink nothing but Duff beer with the Simpsons characters? Let's go.
Exactly.
I'm in.
See?
Yeah, Seymour Butts. Sorry.
That just goes to show you the difference between me and Jeremy. Jeremy wants to go and hang out and drink beers with superheroes, and
yeah,
I'd be okay taking candy from some strange guy who looks a little like Michael Jackson.
And that's why if this show ever ends because one of us fell into the clutches of a cult, it won't be me.
Bingo.
It won't be this guy. However, something that I will and always will fall into the clutches of is the beauty of sports betting, and it's coming here to North Carolina. March 11th. That's only but 5 days away. This time, 5 days from now, you will be able to make legal wagers with our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook. And to celebrate, new customers who download the DraftKings Sports app today using our code, WPEK, will score up to $300 in bonus bets when you place a $5 bonus bet when we go live. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Sign up with code WPEK to get up to $300 in bonus bets. It's coming soon to North Carolina, March 11th. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only, new customers only, subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Maximum $300 in bonus bets not available for use until March 11th, 2024. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after assurance. Deposit, wagering, and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC.
It is the Sportsocracy, and it is coming your way on Monday. Cannot wait for this to go live. I may be a cheatman, but I'll at least get something.
Oh, and
I'll at least get something in on the day that it opens.
Oh, and we're conspiring ways to really interject those of you that are not gambling men. If you're not a gambleman, we're going to do our best to explain to you how to be a gambleman, and then you can be a gambleman with us.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing: Monday night, you can get in on the action. Right, Jeremy, you got your pick for the Ingles SoCon Championship.
I already have my wager on that because
Do you?
We'll see. Here's the thing: we were in Indiana, which is a state that you can already wager in, and then we drove through Tennessee, which is also a state that you can put a wager on. And I just kept seeing Sanford going, "That one, do it,
that one,
do it again,
that one,
buckyball, let's go, Bucky."
So maybe just laying that $5 down on Sanford on championship night could be your ticket to getting those, up to $300 in bonus bets.
I'm fully planning on dancing with that dog on Monday night. Dee-dee-dee-dee-doo.
We're proud to have DraftKings in North Carolina and a part of the Sportsocracy family. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
The madness starts this week, and iHeartMedia Asheville's got you covered with the best college basketball action. UNC Asheville is in the Big South Conference Tournament at High Point University, and our live broadcast starts Friday at 5:30 as the Bulldogs take on Charleston Southern on 570 WWNC. Quarterfinal Saturday gets us started at the Ingles Southern Conference Basketball Championship and runs on ESPN Asheville through Sunday, with coverage of the Women's Championship game and the men's semifinals. March is here, and college basketball lives on iHeartMedia Asheville.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Beyonce's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with little tips for a healthier planet. Help improve air and water quality in your local community by inviting your friends, family, and neighbors to join you in a local volunteer project. Discover projects in your area by visiting iHeartRadio.com/Earth. When we all chip in, our world becomes a better place. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
To thank you for 40 unforgettable years, Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs, like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors, and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
The best season of the year is here.
Tailgate season.
Monster Brewing presents this season's MVP.
The Beast Unleashed.
With 4 bold, familiar flavors.
With 0 caffeine and 0 sugar.
Beast Unleashed is your new pregame ritual.
With white haze, mean green, peach perfect, and scary berries, there's a flavor for every fan. The Beast Unleashed.
6% alcohol by volume. Unleashed responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Beast Unleashed available at your local retailer.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see. Depression won't show up on an eye chart, and you won't find PTSD by looking at a thermometer. Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment. Anxiety won't just go away under a bandage. If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
The madness begins in Asheville. Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville, March 7th through 11th for the 2024 Ingles SoCon Basketball Championships. Experience fun for the whole family as your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournaments. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville box office. Get your tickets today.
We are back in the Sportsocracy, ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And we got a communique to the program from Jack, who says, Art Modell was the owner of the Ravens when they won the Super Bowl.
So that is technically true. He owned 51% of the team. March 27th of 2000, Steve Bisciotti bought 49%. Modell stayed a silent owner. I want to say he was on the podium. I'm not sure. I can't find a picture of it, so I don't know that that's true.
I don't know.
But Bisciotti had the right to buy the rest of the team, which he did in 2002.
Okay.
But Bisciotti bought 49% with the intention of buying out the remainder of the team in 2004. So, yes, Modell was still there. That is technically true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the date of that Super Bowl, and I may have that off because I get years.
The Super Bowl was, I will tell you in just a second here.
They won the Super Bowl January 28th of 2001.
2000.
So Modell was, who was it? Jack Grant? Is that what you said his name was?
Yes.
That is, Jack, you are 100% true that Modell did own 51% of the team, but that 51% was in escrow. There was, I don't remember what the deal was with Bisciotti. He couldn't clear, I think his finances were off or something. He couldn't clear it to buy the whole team.
Mm-hmm.
So Modell did carry the right to keep that team. And if he didn't complete the sale by 2004, I think the 49% went back to Modell, and Bisciotti didn't get his money back. I can't, during the break, I searched to answer that question. I can't find the answer.
He's trying to figure
I just
it
know
out.
Bisciotti was the guy calling the shots in 2001.
Right.
Even though Modell still technically owned it.
We have not yet talked about the franchise tags that were handed out at the deadline. We didn't. I guess we should. Should we recap these coming up after the top of the hour? I was thinking about the draft, but we didn't have enough to pick our favorite ones of the franchise period.
Well, I mean, I know your favorite one. You just take Antoine Winfield 6 times.
Yeah.
And I'll take the other 6.
Yes, I will. I will take Antoine Winfield and Kyle Duggar.
Really?
I mean, just because he's a local guy, right? He went to college locally, went to Lenore Ryan. So, You and I had the discussion of Antoine Winfield, and should you place the franchise tag on a safety? Yes, you should.
When it's that
if
safety.
It's Antoine Winfield Jr. When it's Kyle Duggar.
Well, and they put the transition tag on him.
Okay. I was going to say the paying the premium price doesn't seem quite worth it to me, but good for Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not averse to it. It's fine. I wasn't really surprised by any of them. I knew there was really no shot Josh Allen was going to get to the open market because that would just be dumb. I knew Matt Abuike is about the only one that really surprised me. And then the more I thought about it, it surprised me less because somebody would have come through with a dumb offer on him, which is exactly, by the way, what's going to happen with Christian Wilkins now.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get the tag, and the Chicago Bears are going to give him $11 gajillion.
The Chicago Bears did use their franchise tag on Jalen Johnson.
I heard the CHGO guys talking about this. They were right beside us at during Combine Week about whether that was a good deal or not. Was there actually a merit to not getting a long-term deal done with him and then having to use the franchise tag on him? And the only thing I kept thinking about was, who else would you have put the tag on? They don't have anybody else that deserved the tag.
No.
So you really didn't come out of anything. He's going to play next year on the same amount. If he had signed the long-term deal that they were talking about before this season, he would be playing next year on the same amount that he got on the tag. So really there's no harm, no foul. You didn't actually do anything. There's not actually anything that it cost you. You just don't have him sign long-term, and I'm not 100% sure that he's not better off this way. I mean, he just had the best year of his career.
Yep. We already knew the L'Jarius Sneed thing. They franchise tagged him. They're probably going to trade him, I would imagine.
It does appear that way.
T. Higgins got franchise tagged by the Cincinnati Bengals. That's one that was made weeks ago, or at least hinted at weeks ago. And then your boyfriend, Michael Pittman Jr.
Yes.
Your franchise tagged by the Indianapolis Colts.
Yes, now he has way more money for when we do karate in the garage.
And the Carolina Panthers franchise tagging Brian Burns, which that will last until they find the trade. I just don't see this being, we're going to keep him around.
Well, you can't lose a guy like that for nothing. But this is, oh, by the way, you want a really good example of, and yes, Jack's 100% right. I had dates wrong. I always hate getting dates wrong, but totally call me on that when I do. So big shout out to Jack Grant for calling me on that. The one thing I'm not wrong on is Carolina with Scott Fitterer. So you kept a GM around that was holding on to his job for grim death, and he bypassed 2 first-rounders and a second-rounder from the Rams for Brian Burns. They would kill for that deal to show up again. And that's why you don't keep guys that have 1 foot in the grave, 1 foot on a banana peel around, because they bypass deals like that. They gave up Christian McCaffrey because he's running back, and they got a boatload of picks for him. They looked at Brian Burns and said, defensively, we'll fall into the tank and we'll all get fired. Well, you all got fired anyway. By that time, we knew Fitterer. We're looking at Fitterer's draft record going, I thought that was what you brought. You're really bad at this. Like, shockingly bad at this.
Well, we just, picking from that Seattle tree. We thought we were getting something special.
Yeah, that's a really good lesson on, hey, you know what you should do? You should stop just finding guys that had dinner with somebody and going, hey, they were friends with you, and that means that they're smart, transferred to you. Not necessarily. And now, I mean, what is Brian Burns' trade value at this point to you?
First round pick. That's the best you can hope for. You can hope that LA is still holding on hope that are willing to give you a 1.
And here would be my question. Why would I do that? They're picking at 19. There's no shot that one of Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, or Leatu doesn't fall to them. Why would I do it? I mean, that's the only way you're getting a first-round pick is probably on the clock. Those 3 surge through the process. They can't get a pass rusher there, and they're willing to come off of Carolina. Meanwhile, you lose out on the extra 1 and the extra 2 that you could have had.
No doubt. I mean, hindsight's 2020. You should have made that move at the time. I don't remember it ever getting up to 2 first-round draft picks.
That was the rumor.
I was going to say that feels like a new rumor.
No,
I don't feel like at the time that's what was offered.
We discussed it on this show that they had been. Now the second-round pick is, if that's true, then Scott Fitterer needs to be exiled to the pit of misery.
Mm-hmm.
If you were
I can
offered
just remember
3 top 60 picks for any player in this league that's not Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, or an elite quarterback, you're out of your gourd.
Mm-hmm. 2 ones would have been ridiculous. I think at the time we had said, maybe we heard that rumor, but we thought that was BS. That even that wouldn't be.
I just couldn't believe anybody. I couldn't believe anybody would be that stupid.
Yeah. Well, Scott Fitterer was. He's not around anymore, and now the smart play is to tag him and trade him for whatever you can get out of him. You got to recoup some capital after last year.
Big loss on leverage, though.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Rain will continue to fall through the afternoon on this Wednesday with a high near 57. Some more rain a possibility during the start of the evening, and then later tonight, a cloudy sky with areas of fog as the low drops down to 48. It'll be a dry and warmer Thursday. Early clouds will give way to afternoon sunshine with a high of 69, and then a little bit cooler Friday with clouds and also an occasional shower popping up into the afternoon as the high gets close to 60 degrees. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. Wendy's Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles lets you choose your perfect duo from your fave 4, like a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee. Limited time only during breakfast hours. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in the combo. Single item at regular price.
Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation is known for compassionate care for all across its 18 North Carolina locations. Whether your loved one needs short-term rehabilitation or long-term care, our exceptional staff and comprehensive services are here to support their recovery or ongoing needs.
From the England Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The most common form of treatment for the arthritic joints is normally cortisone injections and gel shots and over-the-counter medications. And most patients have tried all of that and are still in pain.
Every day, Dr. Aaron Wolkoff, a QC Kinetics medical director, meets patients who have exhausted every method to get relief. They've been told surgery is their only option.
They want to stay away from that path, and they come to us almost as a last hope. So we're using our own body's properties to help manage pain, to help slow arthritis down, keep the patient active with no downtime, and get them back to what they enjoy doing. I mean, I love what I do.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments from our board-certified providers help heal and restore aching joints. No surgery, harmful drugs, or downtime. Call for your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
The Sportsocracy.
Fires me up, man. Look, say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Take it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls studio.
We are back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. It's 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. We're heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. Take us with you everywhere you go. You can see us live in the Ingalls studio at YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. You can join us live on Friday. We'll be down at Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville, 12 to 3, doing the show live during the girls' games. So that should be interesting. I don't think we've ever done a courtside show while the games are going.
We have not. There's a set live beside the court this year.
Yes,
I'm very intrigued.
So
I have already planned for an IV Friday morning just in case any of this lingeringness is still hanging around me. I got one of those yesterday. It was. You ever had that?
What?
You got in the mobile IV where they show up at your house and just.
Nope.
Oh, I feel like $1 million for about 6 hours. And by golly, when she wears off,
you feel it. You feel it.
You can actually feel the life draining out of your body.
That's never It's never something I ever thought about.
Well, I had work to do yesterday, and so I thought, I'm going to get super motivated, and just so happened to be friends with some of the people. And they asked me, hey.
You can get your tickets now at SoConHoops.com for the Ingles SoCon Basketball Championships. It all starts tomorrow, the first round of the women's tournament. We will be down there for the second round on Friday afternoon. Then the men's tournament starts Friday night with they're not the play-in games, but they're the lower seed first round games. And then we will have the full coverage on iHeartMedia Asheville for you all weekend long, including the women's championship game on Sunday. It is going to be wall-to-wall coverage, 4 games on Saturday, starting at 11:30 in the morning. We will do the station switch, so we will not be running into the Duke-Carolina game here on ESPN Asheville. So the morning session will be on the morning session will be on ESPN, then we'll go to WWNC. And then on Sunday, with the women's championship and then the semifinals, and then we'll be there live. Not doing the show live, but Jeremy and I will be there live on Monday night for the championship game, which we will may have a shekel or two on because Monday's a big day in the state of North Carolina. It is all happening, and we'll tell you more about that coming up in just a little bit. Top of the third hour of the program here. Franchise tags yesterday.
Usually it's time for a daily draft, but
we didn't have enough.
Well, we had enough, but like any responsible man, you have to know when you've had too many drafts. And frankly, over the last 10 days, I think it's very obvious that I've had too many drafts.
Okay.
So
it's the first time you'll ever hear Jeremy say enough is enough.
It's not the first time. Check us.
Again, Brian Burns, he got the franchise tag from the Carolina Panthers. I didn't ever see that was going down any other way. He was always going to get the franchise tag. I don't think there's a long-term deal coming here.
I don't either. It's just it's too hard for a franchise like Carolina to. You're just so bereft of talent. You've got to recoup some draft capital. You got to get something back off that Bryce Young deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more locked in on the guys that didn't get the tag.
Okay.
Daniel Meehan in our YouTube comments asked me that he said he's a Dolphins fan freaking out. He's okay with Wilkins not being franchised, but he's worried about him not coming back. I'm not so sure that's how that's going to go down. Somebody's going to get big money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's most likely going to be from the Chicago Bears, which is Mike Baker said Wilkins or Chris Jones will be a Bear. And I'm not. The thing that would scare me if I was a Dolphin fan or if I was a Chief fan is that you do have the Cardinals, you do have the Bears. They both have a huge need at defensive tackle, and they both have money. That would scare me because Miami doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Miami is hurt against the cap, and this may be one of those times that a talented player moves on and you get the comp pick for him. And look, San Francisco's built a roster on comp picks. So I don't know that I would be that worried about it. This year is – I'm going to draw a parallel here that's a little strange. Do you remember the year that the NBA cap just surged? And for whatever reason, I think it was the new TV deal, and all of a sudden now every team had cap space, and virtually every one of those deals went terribly.
Was that the year that Dennis Schroeder got $120 million from the Lakers?
No, this was the year that Luol Deng got a big deal.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it was just a bloodletting.
Was that the big Chicago deal?
Every single deal was awful.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a possibility that you're going to see that in the NFL this year. And there have possibly been some, and this was a rumbling that I heard at the Combine. And the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. That maybe there were a few free agents that are not averse to going back to their team. Christian Wilkins was one of the ones that I specifically heard mentioned. It's not that they're averse to coming back. They're just curious what they're going to get on the open market because the cap did come in higher than anybody thought it would. We knew it was going to jump. We didn't know it was going to jump like that.
Right.
And now they want to see what the open market looks like. Chris Jones is another one. I can't stop thinking about that. Yes, you've got the jewelry, you've got the hardware. You don't have to come back to Kansas City, but I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he's not going to.
I don't either.
If you had to set a percentage on it, what would it be?
Percentage that he leaves?
I'll say it's 75-25 that he leaves.
You're 75 for him leaving?
That he leaves.
Oh, I would be more. I'd be more 55-45. I don't think he's going nowhere.
Like I said, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion, but I do think there's a great possibility that somebody that has a lot of money is going to come to Chris Jones and just go, that's one of the best defensive tackles in this league. That's a guy that doesn't hit the free agency market very often, and we'll give you dumb money. And when I say dumb money, I'm talking 4 years, $140 million, and I don't think I'm that far off. I'm talking $35 million a year. Kansas City can't match that.
Mm-hmm.
They can't. Even if Brett Veach wanted to match it, he couldn't do it. And that's kind of the risk. I also look at a guy like Saquon Barkley. If there was ever a year for a player like him to hit the market, this is the year. Because he is a do-everything back. There are some injury concerns. But would I be shocked in a bloated market if a team that thought they were that piece away to give him 3 for $45? Would that shock you? Even as devalued as that position is.
Probably.
That would shock you.
I think it would probably shock me. Yeah, if he gets $15 million a year, I think it's going to shock me.
With 20 guaranteed.
Yeah.
And all of it's in the first year.
Yeah, I think I'd still.
It won't shock me. I mean, because on sheer talent, how many running backs in the NFL are better than Saquon Barkley?
Oh, there's
2.
Maybe.
Like Christian McCaffrey.
And then who? And then which one?
I kind of struggled.
Are you going like? Are you going like the hope and prayer of Bijan?
It's not a hope and prayer. That was the other name I had.
Jahmyr Gibbs. I know you love him. You can put him up in that category now.
I do love Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, I'm not ready to go there.
I'm not.
I think Saquon's your 2. And I've always thought that he was better than what he was in New York. Obviously,
no doubt.
There were injury issues, but I also don't feel like he was ever really used like he should be.
I'll give you a team, and it's a team that's got some money and doesn't have a ton of holes.
Okay.
Houston Texans.
Okay.
If you're the Houston Texans and you look at Saquon Barkley and go, well, we've already got 47 receivers. I don't know that we have a 1, but we have 47 receivers. And then we add that element too. Now that we've got Dalton Schultz locked up behind that line made Devin Singletary look like a dude.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they're going to do for Saquon Barkley? Sorry, I saw Nick Chubb's name out of the corner of my eye.
You're not wrong.
I would put Chubb up there too, except I've seen his leg turn the wrong direction twice, and I can live with it once. It's that second time that I go, mm-mm.
Yeah, it's that second time, especially when I haven't seen you back on the field yet after the second time. That would really.
And you're 28 years old, which also scares me.
Mm-hmm.
Running backs age like cheap milk. Like that milk, that pet milk you get at the gas station. That you take it, it's curdled before you actually got it home.
Right. I'm not shocked that none of the running backs got the deal. And I feel like this is a great thing for Saquon.
I do too.
This way I'm not stuck with whatever that is in New York.
What would you put the chances of him coming back to New York?
Ooh, I would say it's about 0.5%, about as good as your Jets winning the Super Bowl.
I will say that there is a better chance that Saquon Barkley there's actually a less of a chance that Saquon Barkley goes back to the New York Giants than there was that I, through a NyQuil-induced haze, got in my car and drove across town to vote for Joe Biden yesterday. There was a better chance of that than Saquon coming back.
Yeah.
I will go ahead and tell you, I'll bet he has blocked every Giants number from his phone like, not happening again.
Yep.
You got me last year. I'm not doing it again.
Free at last.
You ain't doing it again.
Nope, I'm getting away from this. Who's that team going to be?
Oh, and by the way, Calvin Ridley, he feels the same way. Hey,
about Jacksonville?
Thanks so much for taking the chance on me. and blocked. You can send all the "you up" texts you want to. Those are going to get left on red, bruh.
Oh, God. Did he scrub them or something? Was that?
I don't care if he scrubbed them. They scrubbed him because he turned into a scrub about week 6. Hey, we're going to pepper him with targets. And then we're going to forget he's on the team for about 6 weeks. So I think I'm good on that one.
Mm-hmm. Any other surprises? Oh, I know one. So we said Kyle Duggar. When we originally did the tag him or don't tag him, and we talked about the New England Patriots, you said you would put the tag on Mike Onwenu.
Yes.
Are you super shocked that they decided to do the transition tag thing with Duggar rather than sewing up Onwenu?
Yeah, I am. I don't think it's very smart. Because, I mean, look, I think Kyle Duggar's a fine player. I just see Michael Onwenu as the piece that if I'm building a championship roster, I'm going to find a place for Michael Onwenu. Kyle Duggar is kind of like the sprinkles on top of my sundae. I worry way more about the ice cream and the hot fudge and the Oreo crumbles and the cookie dough on the bottom layer. Yeah, I used to be super fat. I'm only kind of fat now. I used to be super fat.
Now, does it factor in here that was like a $7 million savings?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so what am I saving the money for? I'm the New England Patriots. I am probably the least attractive destination in all of the NFL right now. I'm going to have to overpay any free agent I bring in here. Oh, by the way, we haven't drafted well in 15 years. I don't care about the money. Michael Onwenu, to me, was one of 5 players on the entire roster that I looked at and went, I know exactly what I get out of him. He's going to get a bag. By the way, don't be shocked if that bag comes from a team in the same division. I've already heard it. I've already gotten excited about it. Give you a hint, that team wears green and their helmet might be right behind my head.
And just a team that might need a little old offensive line.
That was the first time since we left Waddle and Sylvie at the Combine that the Combine nips came back. Memories.
Good for you working that in there.
Still top 5 funniest thing I've ever heard a legend in any industry say.
As far as the other running backs, Josh Jacobs. You had said you would probably franchise tag him if you were Vegas. So
well, it just depends on which route you're going to go. I said that before they hired Luke Getsy, who everything I've ever seen of him, he treats running backs as just discretionary. I mean, it worked with Deontay Foreman. It worked with Khalil Herbert. It worked with Roschon Johnson. So, I mean, if you're going to come into this draft with the intention of bringing in 2 young guys and a cheaper vet, I guess I understand why he was allowed to walk. Mm-hmm. He's another guy, though, that I think would get big boy money.
Yep.
Because there's money out there. That's the thing about the salary. The way that when the deal was redone, when the labor deal was restruck, yes, you can leave money out there to roll it over. The only thing about that is you can really only do it once because you got to hit the floor every year. And so this money's going to get spent. Might be on 1-year deals, but it's going to get spent. And I just look at guys like Josh Jacobs because that kind of leads me into another topic that I want to discuss about why I think some of these guys are going to do particularly well. I want to answer a question in the YouTube chat first. Mike Baker asked, where does Onwenu fit and at what position? Right side. He was a really good right tackle last year, and he was an elite right guard. So I think he can play either one of those. And how many teams do we talk about when we do the mock drafts that need offensive line help? He's that guy. He's the guy that I don't know what position you play, but I know you play a position. And for me, the Zach Tom, we've had a bunch of these guys over the years. That
Elgton Jenkins
was one. Elijah Vera Tucker is one. Mm-hmm. That, you know what? When things go sideways, and they go sideways on NFL offensive lines every single year, I don't know where you're going to land, but I know when you get there that I don't have to worry about that position. So I could easily see the higher echelon teams looking at him as a solution. And Red Sea said, I seem to be gradually getting my voice back as the show goes on. That's because I'm drinking coffee that is literally so hot that I am pretty sure you could clean the bottom of your oven with it. So I'm probably doing more damage as we go on, but I do notice that I wish I'd done this earlier. Ooh, good idea.
Less than 45 minutes to go. And we're going to try to finish strong here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. Stick with us.
At Lowe's, save big when you buy in bulk. Save 15% when you buy 10 or more select primed finger joint boards. Because Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
You've heard about the thousands of patients finally getting relief from chronic joint pain thanks to QC Kinetics non-invasive treatments. And here's one who was determined to avoid surgery. Meet Vicky.
The orthopedic surgeon said, well, you're going to need knee replacement sooner rather than later. I kept hearing commercials about QC Kinetics and thought, well, I'm going to check them out first.
QC Kinetics has treated over 20,000 patients like Vicky around the country. People who were told they needed surgery but chose a more natural, less invasive approach that uses regenerative treatments to help heal and restore painful joints with no downtime.
If QC Kinetics had not been what I expected, I would have gone through with the surgery, but I got so much relief, am now pretty much pain-free that I don't have to have the surgery.
Before going under the knife, you need to check out QC Kinetics. The consultation is free. Call today.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
Who's leading in the polls, red or blue?
Who's heading to the governor's mansion? How about the White House?
Get the latest updates right here
on News Radio 570 WWNC,
Western North Carolina's election station.
Doug Gottlieb here. March is here. That means Chick Days, planting your garden, and college basketball. Just like in basketball, every team needs its MVP. When it comes to team members who go above and beyond, Tractor Supply has the winning lineup. Our home team at Tractor Supply is excited to support your hometown. We're proud to be part of the excitement of college basketball tournament season, and our home team looks forward to serving your hometown. Because every day is game day at Tractor Supply.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from. White Haze, Eat Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville, March 7th through 11th for the 2024 Ingles Southern Conference Basketball Championship. Experience fun for the whole family as your favorite teams compete for the championship and a berth at the NCAA tournament. Get your discounted tickets to the 2024 Ingles SoCon Basketball Championship at your local neighborhood Ingles markets. For more information, visit SoConHoops.com. The 2024 Ingles Southern Conference Basketball Championship at SoConHoops.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. The offseason in the NFL kicked into high gear here after franchise tags were announced yesterday, or the deadline, I guess, was yesterday. And now we move toward the legal tampering period, which doesn't stand for everybody because, you know, the Broncos were just like, Russ, you go ahead. You talk to whoever you want.
Honey, I know we split up and we still live in the same house, but if you want to start hooking up with Gardner, you get all over that because I don't care.
We will take deeper looks, obviously, over the next few days into free agency.
I will do NFC tomorrow. AFC Friday.
Very good. And the running backs did not get franchised.
No.
Which I don't think should shock anybody. Kind of figured that wasn't going to happen for Josh Jacobs after he had a down year last year. Saquon, you could have sold it to me that we were keeping him in the building again, but I'm happy for Saquon that he's not being handcuffed to the New York Giants anymore. It would have made sense, wouldn't it? Like, if they'd have done it, you wouldn't have felt horrible about it.
I would have understood it because I don't think there's any way he's signing back there of his own volition.
Precisely. Although you would have, you'd had to pay the premium because you franchised him last year.
Yes, it would have been 14, 15 something $million.
And I just don't think, I think the days of running backs getting that kind of money are over.
I'm not so sure of that.
How come?
Well, this was I had a cheeseburger in between, like I inhaled it during the break, in between the Dayquil and the burger. I now have cotton mouth like I've been doing crimes with Tank. So, sorry, I don't mean to keep popping my my jaw like that. I'm just trying to get some moisture back into the old face mouth. Something that I heard a lot at the combine was, and I've said I love the top of this draft. And I guess I hadn't really noticed this because I grade in a vacuum. So I don't really look at year over year until about now. This is about when I start really solidifying grades. That's why you don't ever see my grades, because the grade will change so drastically and it's so hard to explain why. So I grade guys in the class and then I go back and compare them to previous years that I've had. And that's when I get a final grade of what I actually see the prospect to be. And there was a specific player that I started thinking about of where would he have gone in previous years. And that's Jace McClellan, the running back out of Alabama. No, I'm not a huge fan, I'll go ahead and tell you. But I see absolutely no way that he doesn't get drafted in this class. I don't think he would have been drafted in any other class that I've ever evaluated. And so then I started looking at the guys that are from roughly pick 150 down. That's where you see the effect of NIL. I've been asked that question of, is the NIL thing hurting draft classes? It's not hurting the top. And what triggered me into this, the Chicago Bears have completely tapped out on the 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds. The pick that they gave up to get Ryan Bates from the Buffalo Bills was their only pick later in the class. And the reason they did that is because they just looked at this and went, we're good. I don't want to try to take flyers on these guys. We have money. We can overpay a little bit to get guys that we know that we believe in. This is not the year to be taking flyer chances. And as I went down it, I started realizing that 7th round guys wouldn't have even been priority undrafted free agents for me in previous years because those guys are coming back. I don't have to go into the draft and hope that I latch onto a practice squad making $25,000 a week. And I have to be on the squad to make that. I don't have to do that. I've got that number wrong. I don't remember. I think it's actually 12,000. I don't have to fight that battle. I can come back here, hope that I develop. I'm older than everybody I'm playing against, and I can hope that I'll make the money next year. So don't be shocked if you start seeing, I'll say, headache contracts. And I'll give you one that got cut yesterday, CJ Uzomah. I know there were discussions with other teams. The Jets didn't want to take the pick back. They wanted the pick to be next year. No team wanted to give that to him. So they wound up having to just release him outright because they look at Ruckert and Tyler Conklin as the two that are the future of their tight end room. So they were moving off Uzomah to get out from underneath the money. Every team in the league was wanting to give him a 7th rounder this year that was conditional. I'm good. I don't want to draft. I don't want to draft a guy that I'm going to end up cutting in a year anyway. And of course, there will be the player that we use as the example that somebody will hit in the 5th, 6th, 7th rounds. I just don't think there's going to be as many. Usually, if you look back through the years in draft classes, you can spot a whole bunch of Tally Hufanga from the 49ers or Brock Purdy and quarterbacks rare, but you will see guys that end up being really valuable starters, in some cases even Pro Bowlers. I don't know that you're going to see that this year. I think you're going to see a whole mess of projects. I think you're going to see a whole lot of guys that go in that 5th, 6th, 7th round that don't even make the roster. And then they bounce around the league like a ping pong ball until they find where they fit.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a huge effect of NIL that I guess I'm not going to say I wasn't aware of. I knew the bottom of the class wasn't great. It's just so deep in places. Like running backs really deep.
Mm-hmm. It's the unintended consequences that we keep talking about with NIL. And this is, depending on how you want to look at it, from the NFL standpoint and the draft nerds and all of that, it's a bad thing. You don't want to have these draft classes that aren't as deep, that don't have the super, the potential stars late in the draft. It's good for college football, isn't it?
Well,
I mean, college football's got their own problems, and they need to figure out how to do the movement, limit the movement thing, and all of that. But if we're keeping more talent in college football, is that not a good thing?
It is. It just puts you into you mix this with the COVID years mounting up, and now you've got guys that are on their 6th year. You're gonna have a draft class where this all normals out.
Mm-hmm.
Where yes, we didn't get that 5th round junior, but now we've got that 5th round junior from the previous year that's now a 6th year senior, and so now he's in the draft class. Now you're still in the lurch a little bit.
This is the last year of that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're still a little bit in the lurch of that up until next year, and so don't be shocked if you start seeing trades kind of like that Ryan Bates deal, where you go, why is he worth a draft pick like that? Because he usually wouldn't have been. It would have been a conditional pick, and he had to have made the roster.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're giving up a pick this year. Yeah, because the team didn't want to make it. The team didn't want to make it. I'll take that guy. I'll take a little bit of salary because Ryan Bates only made $2 million, something like that. So I'll take a little salary off you for a guy that you were probably going to cut. You would have had a little bit of dead cap money. We'll take that for a draft pick that we don't really want it any more than you do. But in Buffalo's case, I don't have 2 top 10 picks. So I don't get to I don't get to address all of my needs as early as you do. That's the other thing I was going to say about this. Don't be shocked if that pushes down the defensive tackles, because there are so many. When you get, there are 4 elite ones, and then there are about 10 more that fit into that. In the right situation, you could be really, really good. Don't be shocked if that pushes them down. Also, don't be shocked if your first running back does not come off the board until the 3rd day. The more I've looked at it, the more I struggle to find teams that are going to prioritize taking a running back when there are so many. I've got picks in that 3rd day that I really don't want. And about the only position that I feel really good about, if you take a quarterback in the 3rd day, you literally might as well have just set that pick on fire. You could have traded that to somebody for a McDonald's cheeseburger and 2 barbecue cups, and you'd be in better shape than the quarterback that you're getting back. Oh, but Joe Milton threw it 5,000 yards. Yep, and he couldn't hit the broadside of the ocean. Trust me, I've seen it with my own 2 eyes 2 times now.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. When he lines up and he's not throwing at anybody, he's got a howitzer. The only problem is that he throws the best punt I've ever seen, because he did that in Senior Bowl practices about 11 times. There were literally DBs sitting back there going, man, fair catch. Oh, I can't do that.
This coming Monday, huge day in the state of North Carolina. It's finally here. The day you've all been waiting for, the day that you could sit down with the DraftKings Sportsbook app and you could wager on all of your favorite sports for the comfort of your own home. You can do it with DraftKings. And to celebrate, just for you, because they love you so much, they are offering a deal. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use our promo code WPEK. And you could score up to $300 in bonus bets when you place a $5 bet once we're live. So, for instance, championship game on Monday night here locally. You could lay on that game, $5. There you go. You fulfilled your requirement, and the DraftKings Sportsbook app is giving you more ways to win with the bonus bets.
You're laying the wager on it, Tank. Nobody wants you to lay on anything.
Good point. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and sign up with code WPEK to get up to $300 in bonus bets once mobile sports betting goes live. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, coming soon to North Carolina, March 11th with code WPEK. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only, new customers only, subject to regulatory licensing requirements, maximum $300 in bonus bets, not available for use until March 11th, 2024. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit, wagering, and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Rain will continue to fall through the afternoon on this Wednesday with a high near 57. Some more rain a possibility during the start of the evening, and then later tonight, a cloudy sky with areas of fog as the low drops down to 48. It'll be a dry and warmer Thursday. Early clouds will give way to afternoon sunshine with a high of 69, and then a little bit cooler Friday with clouds and also an occasional shower popping up into the afternoon as the high gets close to 60 degrees. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's.
Bonus savings on top brands and better sleep are all the buzz at Mattress Firm's Friends and Family sale. Hurry in to save up to $700 with your extra discount. You'll even get a free adjustable base on select beds. Plus, if you see a lower price, Mattress Firm will match it. Restrictions apply.
This March, Wendy's is fueling the madness with amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it. Get it for $1. Dave's single, order the app. Dave's single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer. Participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem at Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
Careers in short-term rehabilitation and long-term care require individuals who seek purpose, both professionally and personally. Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation sets the standard for excellence by hiring people who want to make a lasting difference. We encourage you to join the compassionate team where opportunities are more than jobs. They're careers with purpose. Are you ready to begin your journey? Explore our openings at sanstonehealth.com/careers.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you right now, like Alternative Rewind, where alt rock began. Just search Alternative Rewind and listen now on your free iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
It's the moment you dream of, the moment you work for, train for, run wind sprints when nobody's watching for, the moment when hours of gym time, court time, prep time, all culminate into this time. The moment when millions of bounces, blocks, and boards all add up to this, your moment. Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
The madness begins in Asheville. Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville March 7th through 11th for the 2024 Ingles SoCon Basketball Championships. Experience fun for the whole family as your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournaments. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville box office. Get your tickets today.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
We are back in the Ingles studio on ESPN Asheville, and it is time for the most important message of the day, Jeremy Greene.
Don't do crimes.
What kind of weird madness have you found for us today?
My story comes from San Leandro, California. It's about one Lakai Cawthon. He's 26 years old. He was a security guard, I'm guessing at a department store. It never actually says the name of the store. It only says the actions of Mr. Coffin. Apparently, he was asked to leave. It sounds as though his employment at whatever this department store was being terminated. Well, on the way out, he decided that he was going to show his little keister, and he did that. He threw a metal mannequin at two of the employees, striking them both, along with a metal tape dispenser and a plastic case. He allegedly slapped one employee and shoved another.
Jeez.
They suffered minor injuries. It was reported that he left, then returned, struck one of them again, and then left again, and then left the store for good. It took them 5 days because, California, to figure out who it was. They arrested him, charged him with a slew of crimes. How much damage do you think he did in total?
I'll go $2,600.
$624.58.
Okay.
That's a really specific number.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels really low.
It's because the one person that he threw the metal tape dispenser at, she broke her glasses or something, and that was the cost of the glasses.
Why'd you come back? All right, so like you've shown your keister, you've done your thing, the cops have been called. I mean, I go back to Ricky Bobby here. Cops are on the way.
He's probably like me, and he's so absent-minded he forgot his keys. Like you throw your little fit. And
to get to the car.
I'm out of here.
Oh shoot! Got to go back. I got to stick Dave again. I needed my keys. Oh, he did. I hated Dave.
I walked back in, and Dave was like, "Oh, you want more? Sure.
Yeah,
I'll take it."
What up, bruh?
No. And you said this was at a box store or
it was at some department
store?
store. It never lists which one it actually was. Have you ever seen somebody quit that way?
No.
The Jerry Maguire who's coming with me?
No.
I could genuinely say that I have. And it is a beautiful thing. I also had one where I was not fired. I was asked politely to resign in lieu of maybe a charge or two.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You get physical with somebody on the job or?
Well, somebody fawed. Then they had to foe. And they did foe. Through a table.
Wow.
What it do?
Yeah, I would say I'd have to ask you to leave as well.
Well, it was one of those things of, we either have to fire you both or we have to charge you both. And we really don't want to fire you, but we have to. We really would like to charge him. So if you want to be cool and just take this charge so we can get him to do. No, I'm not going to do that.
No,
I don't like this job that much.
Will you take a charge? No, this ain't the MVA.
I was about to say, I didn't take a charge playing basketball. I'm sure as hell not doing it now.
Not for these people.
No.
Not a chance.
That is the shortest tenured job I ever had. I lasted 13 days. 13 days. Got into 2 literal screaming matches and booped somebody right on their little nose. Just boop.
Yep, I feel like that was a record of some kind. 13 days, that's a lot.
I fired a guy in 4 hours one time.
Really?
That's my personal record.
Fun. But I mean, I did see a guy start and get fired in just a matter of hours when I was in college.
I hired him. I didn't really love him in the first place. Didn't really love him in the first place. And then, it didn't go so hot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We had one guy at the Best Buy that I worked at in college that thought that he could get away with it because, there's no cameras back in the warehouse, that he could just take a 36-inch television and set it outside the emergency door. He'll just come back and pick it up later. You know what happens when you open that emergency door and you don't have a key to it? Giant fire alarm goes off. Good job, buddy. Good job.
Sweet.
Yeah. What are you doing with that TV? I was trying to prop the door open because it was hot in here. I wish that had been his excuse. Don't do crimes. That's the lesson of the day.
Crimes are bad. Crimes are bad.
You had another little former boyfriend who got cut loose yesterday. Jamal Adams.
Good riddance to bad rubbish.
Is he going to fetch anything on the open market? Is he going to be a sought-after safety on this market?
I don't think so. There's one team that just keeps jumping out at me, and that's Philadelphia Eagles. Because he does strike me as a very Vic Fangio kind of player.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, in terms of fetching a whole lot of money, no. I mean, the big money deal, that's done. Now you're on to I'm going to take $2 million with $2 million in incentives on a one-year deal.
Is it that low?
Oh, it's that bad.
Okay.
Well, I mean, at some point, your availability is your greatest ability is your availability, and he ain't never available. So, I mean, we had
a bad stroke of luck.
Well, I mean, we had this huge thing about, he's coming back, and then he was hurt, 11 plays?
Mm-hmm. Quandre Diggs also got cut by the Seattle Seahawks.
I will say he fetches more, but probably not by much.
Mm-hmm. What's the feeding frenzy? Is it all just Kirk Cousins, or where else is the feeding frenzy?
Kirk is the first domino because Kirk really leads to the rest of the quarterbacks. And, I mean, define feeding frenzy. I guess that would be the better question.
The hot target. Who are the ones that we're going to fight over? Our respective teams, if you've got money, who are we fighting over? Other than, I think you've already said, Christian Wilkins. There will be a market for him.
Well, I mean, there will be a huge market on
Chris Jones,
Christian Wilkins. I would say Daniil Hunter is going to have a pretty significant. Then I get into the edge guys, Chase Young, Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff may have the most substantial market. He's the guy, to me, that I think is going to sign a deal that the average fan goes, what did he get? Because I could see it being outrageously high. A lot of these guys are just older, though. Like Leonard Williams, insanely productive, but he's 30.
Mm-hmm.
He's 30 and he has a body frame that I am not so sure is.
Oh, what's his per year number? It's up to 20? 19?
I don't think he gets that much.
Really? Okay.
30 is typically where you start seeing the number come down. So.
Wouldn't that be down?
Yeah, but that's not far enough down. I don't think. I mean, unless he's going to take the money. I mean, if he wants to continue to be on teams that don't win. He's made the playoffs one time in his career.
I mean, that
was the Giant team that got absolutely slaughtered by the Eagles.
When you get to be this age, that becomes an important distinction.
It is.
Do I want to take the bag, or do I want to try to win somewhere?
And I think he's more in that. I want to try to win somewhere.
Yes. I would agree with that. Who else is there going to be a feeding frenzy over?
Then it kind of gets into beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I look at another Dolphin player, Robert Hunt. We talked about Connor Williams last year getting more money than we could have ever imagined. Robert Hunt's going to be in that path for me this year.
Okay.
Just simply because there's not very many good offensive linemen. For me, it's Hunt, it's Onwenu that we talked about earlier, and Jonah Jackson. Pretty much it.
Staying off Tyron Smith, too old.
Well, he's 80 years
injured.
old, and he's old. He's hurt a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think a team will do it, and probably at a pretty significant number, but I think it's only for 1 year.
Illuminor, a lot of people like to put him in that class.
He's in that kind of Kevin Dotson class for me of I've seen you be really good for 1 year. But then there was all this other tape where you weren't that. And it always scares me when I see that in a contract year. So I guess that's where I fall in with the two of them. Then you get into the receivers. What is Hollywood Brown going to fetch? What is anybody going to make a run at trying to get T. Higgins off the non-exclusive franchise tag? I don't believe so. Calvin Ridley. I am curious to see who walks away with this from a back. I think you're going to see a lot of guys make more money than you would have thought. And I don't know, because this is a deep class. I don't know that the high-end star power gets more past a handful. Most of the stars got tagged. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't have the Josh Allen as a pass rusher. You don't have the T. Higgins as the elite pass catcher. Jalen Johnson as the shutdown corner. Those guys are all gone. It's basically Chris Jones, Christian Wilkins, Kirk Cousins.
All right, you are the GM of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yes.
What does it take for me to get you interested in trading me to T. Higgins?
More than you'll pay.
That's the answer I was looking for. Because honestly, that's where I'm at. I don't know that there's. I mean, exactly. Unless you're willing to give me the L.A. Rams Brian Burns deal.
Nobody would give you that.
No.
And I'm not even that high.
But I'm not interested. That's my problem. I'm not interested in getting rid of him for anything less than that. Less than 2 1s and a 2 or something in that ballpark.
Well, I mean, I can tag him for 2 years, and he's still a reasonably decent value. I mean, because next year, all he's going to be is 120% of what he was this year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is he going to love it? No. I'm not really sure how much I care. We're winning. You're competitive for Super Bowls. You have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And yes, you want long-term stability. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that will come, just not at the greatest of premiums. Yeah. I think they're going to get a long-term deal done with him anyway.
And it won't come at the cost of my other deals.
Yeah, and that's another part of this, is that whatever I pay you kind of sets a market on Jamar Chase. And if I give you a market-breaking deal, which you would have gotten if I had allowed you to hit the market, then what is Jamar Chase going to cost me? Because I guarantee you, he's sitting here going, I'm getting 125% of whatever T does.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what it is. I don't care if he's the highest paid receiver in the league.
Yeah, no question. Like he's earned it.
I tend to agree with that. Yeah.
You do whatever you have to keep this band together. I was just curious what your thought was on that. What would it take to get in the door for T. Higgins, and it's more than you'd be willing to pay?
I don't see a team that would be willing to pay. I mean, because for me, it starts with 2 1s.
Yes.
It starts with 2 1s, and there's so many receivers in this class that I'm not sure that T is in that position. And there's somebody that's caught in this every single year of you're at a position where I can get guys in the draft that have your level of upside. And if I can pay them $4 million to $5 million a year and have to give up only the draft pick I take them with, that's more beneficial to me than giving up 2 and then having to pay you prime money anyway.
Mm-hmm. You're in the Sportsocracy, ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We'll be right back.
The madness starts this week, and iHeartMedia Asheville's got you covered with the best college basketball action. UNC Asheville is in the Big South Conference Tournament at High Point University, and our live broadcast starts Friday at 5:30 as the Bulldogs take on Charleston Southern on 570 WWNC. Quarterfinal Saturday gets us started at the Ingles Southern Conference Basketball Championship and runs on ESPN Asheville through Sunday, with coverage of the Women's Championship game and the men's semifinals. March is here, and college basketball lives on iHeartMedia Asheville.
At the North Carolina Education Lottery, we love to celebrate winners. So I hired a town crier to announce Pick 3, Pick 4, and Cash 5 winners.
Hear ye, hear ye. But there are thousands of winners every day.
Oyez, oyez, oyez. I may not have thought this through.
A proclamation of jubilant accord. Who gave him a bell?
Daily draw games. What will you do with your win? Must be 18 to play. See Pick 3, Pick 4, and Cash 5 prize and odds charts at nclottery.com for details. Problem gambling helpline, 877-718-5543.
Crooked teeth may embarrass kids whose families can't afford braces. And trying to fix their teeth themselves can make things worse. Luckily, there's Donated Orthodontic Services, a program from the American Association of Orthodontists. For children and teens who qualify and are matched with a volunteer orthodontist, treatment can be life-changing and help them smile with confidence.
Learn more at aaoinfo.org.
Asheville Smiles has been featured in national publications like Good Housekeeping and Woman's Day. And check out this 5-star Google review. My dental experience was wonderful. I cannot say enough about Dr. Merrill and her amazing team at Asheville Smiles Cosmetic and Family Dentistry. Dr. Merrill took time to explain everything. She made me feel relaxed and confident that I was in good hands. I apologize for those tears at your office. Those were tears of joy. Thank you all so much, and thank you, Dr. Merrill, for the hope to get my smile back. Check out Asheville Smiles online at AshevilleSmiles.com.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
Oh, they continue to play with my emotions, Jeremy. Latest reports out of the insiders. Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Far apart. How far?
Far.
$20 million. He wants $20 million more than the Bucs are willing to offer, according to reports right now.
And
I'm getting excited.
Well, they didn't just give Mike Evans $52 million for them to have. I don't even know who that would be. Kyle Trask throwing to him. Yeah, he's asking for $20 million more because he can.
Yeah.
I mean, I can play with your emotions. I wouldn't let it play with them that much, because what that means is whatever number you're hoping it is, it's going to be way closer to my number. I mean, because if they're offering $20 million and he wants $40, that means you're settling at the number that I said was
30.
The floor.
Yeah.
Now, my fear would be they're offering 30 and he's wanting 50.
Well,
I would say it's way closer to that, which means you're going to settle at a nice $40 million. That's exactly what I told you it was going to be.
Not gonna happen. I'm still saying it ain't gonna happen because he's worth 22 to 30.
That's a weird way to say 8. He's worth about $8 million. I've seen him be a productive quarterback 2 years of his life. Average salary in those years was $6.4 million. Awesome. And even then, he was really propped up by some pieces around him and bad divisions.
Yep. It's just a roller coaster, and I'm still don't want it. But hey, he's number 2 on the quarterback list for this free agent market. Kirk Cousins and then Baker Mayfield.
Woo!
He's getting out on the free agent market though, because they didn't use a franchise tag on him. At least they didn't do that.
Well, that's a thing. That's fun, isn't it? Isn't that fun?
Super fun. We will be back with you tomorrow at noon right here on ESPN Asheville, continuing the free agency coverage of the NFL offseason.
We'll talk about every NFC team tomorrow, every AFC team on Friday. It's a beautiful time to be alive. It's time for all of the players around the world to find new homes.
Yep.
Which is exactly, these are like my favorite weeks of the year. Because next week we'll have literally breaking news just over and over and over and over again. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to see Jeremy and Tank disappointed in the moves of their teams in live time.
Oh, because ain't it a shame?
Because
one way or the other, the Buck's going to find a way to buck, and the Jet's going to find a way to jet.
My team will find a way to give 3 times too much money to some offensive lineman that couldn't play dead in a Western. So that'll be fun. I can't wait for that.
Hey, Bakhtiari. Is he still on the table? You're going to give him some money?
That's even worse than what I was going to say. We give Kevin Dodson 3 years, $60 million. Sweet.
Oh, no. Aaron's going to make sure you get another one of his little boyfriends coming to town. Gross. You feel the same way about your team as we feel about ours, I'm sure. Just finding out the way that we're going to screw it up next time. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Back with you tomorrow right here on 92.9. We'll see you then.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Rain will continue to fall through the afternoon on this Wednesday with a high near 57. Some more rain, a possibility during the start of the evening, and then later tonight, a cloudy sky with areas of fog as the low drops down to 48. It'll be a dry and warmer Thursday. Early clouds will give way to afternoon sunshine with a high of 69, and then a little bit cooler Friday with clouds and also an occasional shower popping up into the afternoon as the high gets close to 60 degrees. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This March, Wendy's is fueling the madness with amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it. Get it for $1. Dave's single, order the app. Dave's single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer. Participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem at Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
You might not know this, but the Ingalls Bakery is actually a bakery. As in, we bake things. Really delicious things. Things like crusty breads just waiting for that scrumptious strawberry jam. Apple fritters to pair perfectly with that morning cup of coffee. Cakes for any occasion, customized to your precise standards. And did we mention the cookies? It's all in the bag. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
The madness begins in Asheville. Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville March 7th through 11th for the 2024 Ingalls SoCon Basketball Championships. Experience fun for the whole family as your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournaments. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville box office. Get your tickets today.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.